good evening wherever you are watching in Victoria, across the nation, or indeed around the world. And welcome to Darabin on what has been on a dreary, on a dim, on a rather grey Sunday, my apologies, on a rather grey weekend. This is perhaps the highlight of it, the penultimate match day of Series Futsal Women's for the season. And what a campaign it's been. The second half of 2025, it's thrown up a lot, it's thrown up many a shock. None was greater than Heidelberg the other week when they beat Fitzroy. They couldn't quite take it last week with the same intensity, but they have a chance with the bye on the final day to round out their campaign on a high against Eastern 1-0. My name's Ethan Rigg, and I'm joined on commentary, as always on Sunday, by Tyler Lewis. Good evening, Tyler.
Hey, mate. You got your weekly half now, because I'll have to disappear after, at about half-time. So let's hope the first half is as entertaining as what the last couple of weeks have been.
First keeping score. Phoenix have got the late kickoff tonight. 7:30 game.
Yeah, game that could decide the title for Aku. If they were to win, they will be crowned champions for the third consecutive time. But anyway, let's focus on the game we have at hand, as this will be a Heidelberg team full of emotion tonight, Ethan.
It certainly will. For those of you who are keeping score, we've just got the all clear from Josh Fusco to say that this is Heidelberg's final Series Futsal Women's outing.
Yes, they won't be returning next season, so this will be it for them. So they've got the bye next week, so this was their final game of the season and of their time. So we've seen some good moments from Heidelberg this season, especially with the win over Fitzroy a couple of weeks ago, which really put the title in the balance. So, and they started the season extremely well.
Having started the season strongly, they will want to finish in the same vein. 1-0 are looking to spoil the party, however.
Very strong 1-0 side tonight, though. And they've got a full bench.
Won't be an easy one for Heidelberg on their curtain call at Series Futsal. And Salah is looking to start things off in a good vein. McCaffrey skipped her way around for Tinos, away from Langley, beyond Salakidis. And then fired a shot just over. Perhaps the first warning shot fired.
Just walked through the Heidelberg defence there.
From a Costa Fruitsus Lus.
He's running late. He's dealing with the men's team at the moment. So the men's team play in Brunswick. So they're part of the Series State League 1 competition. So Claudia Damasi is the stand-in coach at the moment. As 1-0, roll one calmly into the back of the net. That was kind of a nonchalant finish there from 1-0.
Nia Salah with a superb shift and a fabulous drive into the back of the net. And Heidelberg's curtain call is not going to plan so far.
That was literally so just... Everything was just slow motion there.
The coolest of finishes.
Yeah, it's just calm. It was passed into the back of the net. As Heidelberg look to respond now.
Verratti took over, chopped it off to McCaffrey. Salah, who's had a superb season for 1-0, starting tonight as she has done for a lot of this campaign, shown a lot of glimpses of somebody who has the potential to be an incredibly good player.
Big shout for Young Player of the Season, or Youth Player of the Season, Sophie McCaffrey.
Certainly be up there. A few of that 1-0 side would consider themselves amongst the running. Salakidis. Not beyond Peel. Tanaka then took over. Dropped it off for Langley. Tried to work a yards, and Danilis got down to make the save.
A lot of venom on that shot there from Langers, though. She did really well just to even get the shot away in the first place.
Salah dropped it off to McCaffrey. 1-0 have started positively. Verratti dropped it back for Peel. Salah once more. They're seeming to play through her at the moment. She's away from Salakidis. Peel. Verratti. Oh, delightful 1-2 with Salah. Away from Langley, and Fatinos in the nick of time got a foot in to make the block. It nearly, ever so nearly, was an opportunity to double their lead early, which they might still have a look at. McCaffrey skipped on Fatinos, kept the ball alive and steered it back for Salah. What a save from Paige Daly. That's a delightful stop. Salah, who was looking to steer home her second, was denied by an outstretched leg. rather miraculously in the end.
You normally don't see that ball stay there, though, when you make the split save and hit your foot. Normally it wants to bounce away. So Paige did really well just to control the ball well enough to actually let it stay there so she could claim it after the initial save. Then little things like that change a game as well, like because you're not going to have... If that bounces back into the middle, there's a 1-0 player sitting there waiting to score an easy tap in. Paige has to keep it in, like in her own little sphere, in which she did really well there.
Little flashpoints, little moments, all of importance.
And this is definitely a game where the little mistakes are going to decide the game.
Peel wants to work away around Salakidis, wasn't quite able to. And for 1-0, Heidelberg can't go anywhere in the table. They are locked into a top 3 finish. For 1-0 though.
If they win this, then Phoenix have to win both their next 2 to this could lock them into 4th. If they win tonight, this will lock them into 4th.
Essentially, it would keep them off the bottom of the table. Mathematically, the run would still be on for Northern Phoenix. However, it's not an easy closeout to the season. Aku tonight, and then 1-0 next week. So you never know. You just never know. As Tanaka tiptoed across to stop Salah from making way. And of course, if Northern Phoenix were to win tonight, it would take the title race
To the final game?
to the final day of the season. McCaffrey threaded for Peel. Salah on for Verratti. Return to Salah was tidy. Going to spin away around Salakidis. Chincotta came across and stayed on the press. Really good start from 1-0 to this game.
There's no tempo in the game, though, Ethan. It's very, very slow and methodical. So we're just kind of... Both teams are kind of easing themselves in, but 1-0 are just making the most of their opportunities. As McCaffrey just walks around Patinas, who dived in. And now 1-0 will look to go forward again. Verratti, loses out. Chincotta just drags that shot wide, and it will be a keeper's ball.
It's a golden opportunity for Isabella Chincotta, who did so well to win it, and then just couldn't turn the effort in. Might be wondering what could be. That's a lovely touch from Salah. On to Scott Nicker, who's returned for Salah. He's away from Salakidis. Around for Tinos, has fisted across.
Oh, what a
and
save,
Daly's
Paige.
made another brilliant save. That's a terrific stop
Well done, Paige.
from a keeper who is having a wonderful season.
Yes, at the moment would be very much up there this season for an individual award.
Forced into another save. Chincotta then lost out.
Scott Nicker dribbles around one. Verratti goes for the shot. He's blocked out there by Chincotta. ET trying to get the ball off. Verratti doesn't. Salah dribbles around one. Passes off to the right side. And Scott Nicker just lets that one drift wide, and it does go out for another keeper's ball. Ethan, why am I doing play-by-play? I hate this.
It's another dangerous set. For
Twice
1-0.
I've done it.
Daly went looking long for Tanaka. Verratti got in the way. Scott Nicker shifted away from Salakidis. Couldn't quite steer it for Salah. It was just a fraction too heavy in ahead of her.
Heidelberg defensively right now, Ethan, they're just diving in at everything, trying to win the ball back as high as possible. But 1-0, very patient, very calm to actually just go, I hate you, sorry. Very calm to actually just walk around the Heidelberg defence.
Chincotta gives it back to Yuki Tamamura. Had a quick drop off from Tanaka. Chincotta had just peeled away momentarily. Tanaka, who's been in rather fine touch to end the season, and that's a glimpse of it. Salakidis has a look. Danilis is called into her first piece of action for the evening and makes a good save. In fact, it might have been her second piece of action.
Yeah, you forget about laying a shot, did you, mate? Yeah.
Tanaka from the side ball.
Corner. Oh, that definitely came off her hands.
Danilis was outstretched. Wasn't needed to apply a touch in the end, despite the angle we had of it. It's Verratti. 1-0 just slowing the tempo down. Moving on to Parkinson. Scott Nicker couldn't spin away from Salakidis, who won in well. Wanted to turn her way forward. Ever the battler, Katrina Salakidis. Chincotta dropped it off for Tanaka.
That's going to be an interesting battle for tonight. Both very physical players in Scott Nicker and in Salakidis, so going to push each other to their limits as Heidelberg get on the break.
Chincotta shifting away through the legs for Tanaka. Danilis with a good intervention. Salakidis is following. Is smashed over the bar. but it's better from Heidelberg, who are just starting to build.
Much better from Heidelberg. Much better.
Danilis in for Salah, who only had one further forward, dropped it off for Parkinson. On the switch for Verratti. Salah again. Parkinson made a darting run. Chincotta with a good challenge. Tanaka's up with her. Chincotta couldn't get around Verratti, who made an important challenge. Otherwise, Heidelberg might have been in.
Yeah, she took a bit of a slip there from the initial tackle between Salah and herself. So that caused her to slow down a little bit, as Costa is now shown up. So he will take over the coaching duties, I would assume, as Damazi looks to probably jump on the court herself.
I feel like Damazi would have been reluctant to relinquish duties, considering 1-0 are a goal ahead under her tutelage.
Hey, if anything happens now, Damazi's going to sit there and say, maybe I should be coaching Costa.
Sadakidis, not beyond Scott Nicker. Tamamura lost out. Salah, unable to shift their way through. Chincotta lost out to Parkinson, and now 1-0 can go the other way. Another early hit. And this time Yuki Tamamura gets herself in the way.
Yeah, and then luckily enough, Cannon's back off 1-0, and that becomes a Heidelberg side ball.
Daly, happy to reset. Heidelberg have really warmed into this game. You get the feeling, didn't start too brightly. We had a goal down early, but are now playing some lovely futsal. Tidy return to Whiting. On for Tamamura once again, who's got Salah to try and shift around, but wasn't able to keep the ball alive. And 1-0, who are a goal up. Had posed a lot of early threat. That since hasn't transpired to a second. Whiting was waiting on the options. Chincotta was one who just stayed wide and then lost out to Salah, who's got a runner either side. Parkinson was one. Scott Nicker was at the back post, and Daly makes a wonderful save again.
Very nonchalant save there from Paige. She did really well just to even cut the angle in the first place.
It's a brilliant stop.
Nonchalant's my word of the day, Ethan. I've used it a couple of times already.
1-0 perhaps. Could be 3 up. As Salah struck it into Whiting, who had Tanaka momentarily, tried to thread it for her. Didn't quite come off the first time, did the second, and it's a tidy 1-2. Verratti read it well, and now can go on the break the other way. Had options left and right. Wanting to shift away from Tamamura, on for Parkinson. Verratti, Chincotta came across. Scott Nicker will let it trickle out. One 1-0 building again, having withstood some Heidelberg pressure. Salah tried to steer it back towards Scott Nicker, but Tamamura took over. Whiting. Chincotta. That's a lovely ball to find Tamamura. Tanaka was charging centrally. Parkinson got a foot in, and Whiting wasn't able to continue the move. And perhaps just breathe for a bit in Darabin. It's been that kind of day all around in the championship. The start to the women's has been one which has picked up steam as the half has gone on. Chincotta couldn't tiptoe her way forward.
Oh, new stream should probably give some championship updates, shouldn't you, Ethan? Might be that journalistic integrity that you have.
Those of you who have just joined us, Northcote usurped Footscray, and they now sit second in the championship. Only 2 points off Carlton Hart, who rescued a point late against the Vic Lions. A really, really big week at the top of the division. Our attention turns to Sunday's final act. As Verratti, lovely return touch from Parkinson. Verratti kept it alive and then lost out to Chincotta, who wanted to drive forward. Tamamura with a lovely ball for Whiting.
Touch let her down there.
A touch evaded her on that occasion.
Big Gang now enters the court with a dangerous left foot, and Tanaka comes off for a spell.
Heidelberg shuffling the pack. Tamamura.
Maz can hit it from here.
Mariella Bagang might have a go as well, and Danilis had to claw across to make the save. How's that crystal ball of yours working, Tyler? Comes across most Sundays.
I don't know, like when you watch the games long enough, you kind of understand people's play styles and what they like to do a lot of. Like, Maz is dangerous from that position. She scored many goals in her career, so you can't be afraid to have a hit. And that's what we find a lot, especially with my own team. We take too long to have the hit, and sometimes you can catch a keeper off guard if you just have the hit. So basically, in essence, you just need to have a hit.
Just need to have a go. The chances open themselves up, especially when they could be few and far between. Parkinson, good cut out by Cincotta again, and that's a dazzling turn away. Whiting.
Even though they're losing, Isabella Cincotta is playing really well. She's just doing easy things.
Moratti. 1-0 just calming the tempo of the game right down.
Smart. You don't normally see this from 1-0. They're very much a helter-skelter team where they want to just go forward all the time. They're actually being patient with the ball.
And here's Parkinson on the drive. On the switch for Skotnica, Andriopoulos just worked a yard for herself. Tamamura made the block and was able to clear it away. Instead of being helter-skelter, they're taking the long and winding road forward this time. Danilis went on the drive.
And there she's out, though.
Cut out by Whiting, who had a hit and scored a stunner. It's a delightful Heidelberg equaliser. Danilis caught off her line. And we've talked about having a hit. Whiting did so wondrously.
If you're going to have a shot as a keeper, make sure the ball goes dead. It has to go dead. You keep it in play, you're subject to those kind of opportunities. In a game you're up 1-0, giving up an opportunity like that is nearly a life sentence in futsal.
Andriopoulos turned away from Tamamura. Verratti went with Loft, but Begang was always best placed to usher that one back to Daly. Heidelberg have really snatched the momentum back. In the last 5 minutes, Tamamura's turn just for a moment. Thought she'd evaded Verratti, but the ball trickled out.
Bit of an outdoor trait where you let the ball run past you in futsal because there's no actual like grass slowing down the ball at all. You need to take the little touch inside, otherwise the ball will just keep rolling. Just a little ball roll and you'll just be away. Takes all the momentum off the ball, but allows you to keep going forward.
Perhaps one about control there for Tamamura instead of trying to be able to turn. Not to use an outdoor reference, but it would have been good wing play had it come off. Not so much on the flank, however. Verratti, again, just slowing the game to a standstill. Parkinson. 1-0 taking their time. Demazi's dummy was the right idea, but Parkinson wasn't quite on the move.
I'm just going to say, while Demazi was coaching, they were up 1-0. Costa. It's all tongue-in-cheek. It's a little bit of fun.
Some might call it the Costa Derby on the touchline
today.
It
is the Costa Derby. Only for one Costa it will be their last time on the touchline.
Langley lost out to Demazi, who gets a first real look at the Heidelberg defence. Rolls it back for Verratti. Andriopoulos had continued her run. Wasn't a bad ball into the channel. It just had a fraction too much pace on it. Begang. Set things for Heidelberg. Whiting, whose equaliser is one of picture book stuff.
Very attacking lineup right now for Heidelberg with Langers and Whiting on the court. Tamamura is going to find Begang here on the flank. Plays Langers. Langers' touch lets it down and it just rolls out.
It's been a theme of this first half. It's beyond the halfway stage. Parkinson threaded it for Demazi. He was able to get it out of her feet in time to turn, and Begang read it well. Langley's touch was heavy, but she would have been away had it been gentler. Danilis had her ball cut out by Whiting.
Whiting had to get anything on that, otherwise 1-0 are away, because Andriopoulos was away on the turn.
And the ball was not only rolling, but it was quite a couple of yards inside the field of play. Be a Heidelberg side ball.
Begang here, going to control things at the back. Plays Langers.
Almost acting like an orchestrator.
She does that a lot. Like, one of the best things about Maz's game is she's just calm. Like, she's got a lot of good things about her game, don't get me wrong, but one of the best things about it is she's just a very calming presence. Does really well with young teams around her as well.
Demazi for Verratti. Begang might be called upon again. Andriopoulos' touch, however, was loose on this occasion. It's been a big miss for Heidelberg. this season at times when she's not been available, Mariella Begang.
Yeah, obviously, like playing on a Sunday, it just makes it hard for a lot of these girls to be able to back up after they play outdoor. It's a lot easier for the younger ones, like who are happy to sit there and play game after game after game after game. But for someone like who's been around a long time, your body starts to get a bit sore and everything hurts after a day of sport. So recovery becomes so much more important.
Whiting onto Langley. Whiting had just continued her run. Langley went alone and Danilis had to get down at the expense of a corner. One which Heidelberg.
Langley's in the middle.
Oh. And Tamamura at the back post has turned it in. And Heidelberg have turned it around in next to no time. Having been one down, a wondrous equaliser, and then they make it 2-1 with 1-0 having switched off.
Couldn't set it better myself there. When 1-0 switched off, Heidelberg took advantage. They go up 2-1. Becomes Heidelberg's game now.
And from what was looking like it could have been a dreary Darabin farewell, perhaps could be one of Sunday delight for Heidelberg. However, 1-0 is still searching, wanting to put this side under pressure. The gang, that's beautifully worked to Tamamura. How terrific is that? Langley tried to fire it one more for Begang, but Demazi had telegraphed it well. Now goes on a charge of her own. Peel drops it off for Verratti. Demazi went to turn it round the corner.
Would have worked well. Just not on the same page as what Dim was. So
just broke down a little bit at the end. Begang given away to Peel, who's got a yard to shoot and flashed her effort wide of Daly's near post.
hand up there from Maz. Mate, nothing worse. Nothing worse than turning the ball over, creating a one-on-one. Nothing worse.
An apologetic one towards Paige Daly, who entrusts Begang with it again. One down the line for Fatinos. Wasn't able to evade Jurcic. Inside the final 7 minutes of the first half. Heidelberg, who were a goal down early, have turned it round. They lead 1-0, 2-1. And currently have made the best of a very good period of futsal. The Salakidis, one for Langley. Verratti went on the press. Salakidis once more tried to turn it down the line for Fatinos, who had drifted her way indoors.
The ball was there. It would have been nice to see Fatinos stay wide and then Began come into the middle. Would have created the opening that they needed.
Peel dropped it off for Demazi. Jurcic did well to keep it alive. Demazi around Begang, but not around Fatinos, so she fancied a hit.
Costa plays with his ball.
Jurcic, Demazi. Again, not around Fatinos, who's just won that battle a couple of times. Tidy ball from Begang. Langley dropped it off for Salakidis. Begang. Heidelberg just cooling the tempo. Salakidis wanted to steer it again for Fatinos. And Katrina Salakidis has almost been the switch flicker since coming on in this first half. Whenever she's had the ball, she's looked to go forward with it.
That's pretty much her game style. She wants to go forward, she wants to attack. She chases pretty much everything.
Demazi goes on a drive. Salakidis in retreat. Couldn't stop it from finding Peel, but could make a very tidy challenge at the second attempt. Just again to stifle a 1-0 advance. Begang.
She works hard now. Like, she works really hard. I think the next step for her in her game, though, would be understanding when to flick the switch and be able to slow the game down at times. I think if she has the right person there, she'll be able to actually do that, like a little bit more experience around her. But while we take a bit of a lull in the game, since it is Heidelberg's final game, who was your favourite person to see in a Heidelberg kit?
What a question that is. That's a superb question.
I got an answer for you. Like, I've got a really big answer for you.
Go on.
I'll let you go first, but
I didn't have a lot of time calling this Heidelberg side. I like the way that Salakidis goes about the game. Daly's a fantastic goalkeeper. I think Emily Tanaka, though, a very deft, very nimble player.
E.T.,
but
yeah.
just so elegant
Yeah.
on the ball.
What about Keeley?
Yeah. Yeah. Also definitely would be up there.
Yeah. So we've seen some really good players in the Heidelberg team over the time they've been in the competition. Obviously, started with a few seasons ago at our Thomastown venue and done really good things for the league. They've been touching, never quite been there, but been very touching the top of the table. Have taken points off teams they shouldn't have.
This season is a microcosm of that in and of itself as well. Heidelberg started hot, looked like early title favourites. That had since fizzled out. But they were able to shock Futsal and pick up points against teams where perhaps they might not have, in circumstances perhaps where it wouldn't have favoured them. It's been a side who have given so much to this league in their time. It's a shame to see it go.
Look, that is sport. We see it in professional sport. Teams come, they go. It just happens. I mean, we saw it with Western United.
Such is the nature of the world that we operate in. And Heidelberg at the moment have at least got their bow to series futsal going to plan so far, but McCaffrey's looking to change that. Tanaka with a good block. Steered out for Daly's ball.
Heidelberg have done something really smart here, and I don't know if it's been intentional, but they've taken a lot of the sting out of the game since they scored their second goal. They haven't let 1-0 catch them on the counter. That's a beautiful ball there by Isa.
Salakidis was nearly the beneficiary. Danilis sprung across to make the save. And in fact, it took a final deflection. McCaffrey went searching for Peel, who's peeled away from Fatinos and flashed it in for 2-2.
Side netting.
What a finish. That is as tidy as you like. Daly was no chance. A terrific finish. It faded late into the side netting, and 1-0 out of nowhere have themselves level. Unbelievable. A brilliant turn and finish from Peel. That's a proper number 9's goal. Just the swivel and shot was so sharp.
Yeah, as I said, Heidelberg did really well at keeping off the counter, but now they've given up nearly a couple in a row. And that's 1-0's biggest strength. They love the counter. They're very quick players. They've got Damazi, who is an energizer bunny and just goes. And you got Peel, who's able to put balls in the back of the net like that. Like Salah. Like these are all players that love to go on the counter. You need to be a little bit more methodical when you play against 1-0 and happily just take your chances, score your set plays, because that's their weakness. That's 1-0's weakness, is that they're a young team and they switch off at times.
Tanaka in for Fatinos, on for Salakidis. That's a smashing ball. Tanaka's touch let her down. Peel back for McCaffrey. This game, of course, in stark contrast to the opening night of the season, where Heidelberg were out of sight by now against 1-0.
No, do they play Ravenhall? No, one of them played Ravenhall first round. It was Heidelberg. They played Ravenhall first round.
Daly's forced into another fantastic save.
It won't be on Leafroff either because they're no longer in the league.
Well, they'll have a corner.
Oh, it is on Leafroff. Oh, I'm wrong. Apologies, Ethan. Apologies.
Marzi takes McCaffrey. It's all right.
I'm glad to see you're right about one thing in your life.
Moved it on to Jurcic. Peel tried to steer down the line. Daly flung a foot at it. And Tanaka wasn't quite able to get there.
It was 10-4.
It was 10-4. Heidelberg started hot as well. 1-0, clawed a few back late. But it was the game that, perhaps to a few people, announced Heidelberg this season as a team to look out for. We called it, Joshua Fusco and I on opening night, as a really fast start to the campaign. And one where they certainly were looking to make a statement. Here's Daly. And since how it's transpired, 1-0 have come a long way from that night too. It's a team who, we even said it on the night, but they look a lot more set in their shape now. It's a side who is growing at, to be quite honest, a frighteningly rapid rate.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, they've done the smart thing. They've built young. They built a core of young players, and they've added some experience, and that's what they needed to do to become better.
Tinos on the charge, and Demazi, who was one of those new acquisitions, makes a good challenge. Approaching half-time.
I can't believe how giddy you were when you proved me wrong. I love it. It's great. You have to have one over.
Doesn't happen often.
It does.
Does not
I
happen
forget
often.
things, man. I'm old.
Salakidis, Tanaka.
Have a shot.
Back for Salakidis. Did have a shot, and it might fall for Tanaka. Demazi in the nick of time got it right. Jurcic wanted Peel for Tinos.
Smart.
Recovered well.
Smart.
And again, called the situation.
Middle's
Cincotta couldn't shift away from Demazi. Found a tidy ball for Tanaka, who couldn't steer it for Salakidis. Demazi got it from McCaffrey. Wanted to thread it through, and Cincotta nearly found her own net. Daly in the nick of time reacted. 1-0, one time out.
Open goal.
And McCaffrey has charged down. And 1-1 a corner, just in the nick of time for them to take time out. Having been 1 up, having gone 2-1 down, they found a leveller. And as we head to time out for the first time this evening, it's Heidelberg 2, 1-0 2. We return from timeout for the first time tonight. Heidelberg were 2-1 up against 1-0. They now find themselves dead level in the closing stages of the first half. Demazi's corner for McCaffrey, who was urged to shoot, and Tanaka telegraphed it well. Jurcic speared it into Peel. Salakidis on the slide, and 1-0 will have another corner.
It wasn't an intentional slide. She was falling and just got a foot on that ball.
Another 1-0 corner. One from the other side. Peel. Jurcic got under it. Didn't quite get the power or placement she would have liked.
Big Gang comes on for another run. She was the real danger when she came on. The game turned for Heidelberg.
There's Peel, who was found by Jurcic. Begang was stepped around, and the effort was drilled just wide.
Did enough there, Begang. Put her under pressure. Got the initial tackle in. Did bounce back to Peel, but then put her shot wide because of it.
Tanaka on for Begang, who was waiting on Salakidis. It would have been a smashing ball had Salakidis not retreated a yard.
They're looking for that diag ball here against 1-0. They found it many, many times. They're giving up the middle here 1-0 a lot because of it. They're trying to stop the target play and not so much the flank play.
Danilis went long for Demazi, whose flick only went to Daly. Thought about it for a moment with Danilis still a couple yards away. Demazi's been found around Begang and has steered 1-0 ahead. A topsy-turvy first half turns on its head again, and it's 1-0's turn to reclaim the lead.
Just a game of momentum shifts, mate. Don't know what to tell you. Like, legitimately, it's just 1-0 started better. Heidelberg had a great middle patch, and now 1-0 ending the half better. They score another one here. This game could be a real danger to actually get out of hand because 1-0 will probably play the second half with a lot more aggression. They've got confidence going in.
After a small delay, we're back with a restart. A seesawing first half of a second last game of the season. One which 1-0 have just snatched all of the momentum back from Heidelberg. McCaffrey, that one too heavy for Andriopoulos. What have Heidelberg got? Time ticking down towards the break. Tanaka's touch was tidy.
Play back.
Chincotta recycled it for Bagang, who fancied a drive. Jurcic got on the block, and Andriopoulos, with a great burst of pace, is now charging at Heidelberg. Bagang with a good challenge. Recycled to Dimarzi, who went the dink for McCaffrey. Tanaka nodded it into McCaffrey's path. Andriopoulos went down the line for her. McCaffrey waiting on a runner. Jurcic wanted to be intricate. Bagang read it well and got not one but two challenges in. First half time ticking down. And Dimarzi slows it right to a stop. Happy to take all the time in the world.
They don't need a rush. They can wait for Heidelberg to step up like they have done and look to go forward.
Dimarzi squeezed it through to Andriopoulos, who had tidy footwork to get around Tanaka but couldn't keep it alive. Is there one final push of momentum in this first period? And if so, which way will it fall? Heidelberg looking for a leveller. Can 1-0 hold out? Could they perhaps get one on the counter themselves? Chincotta tiptoeing away through. Couldn't get it beyond Dimarzi. Deflected back to her. Tanaka, Salakidis. Might have a hit. Blocked by Dimarzi again, who's been in the right place at the right time. Jurcic
Outside the top.
nearly steered it for Andriopoulos, who was just lurking and had just got away from Salakidis and Tanaka, who was found by Daly. Salakidis.
Overlap.
Again waiting on the runners. Bagang had tucked herself inside.
9 seconds left, Ethan. It helps when the referee's that close so you can hear them tell each other.
Final knockings of the first half. Bagang's take. Salakidis took a deflection. Tanaka has to win the foot race, otherwise Andriopoulos is on her way. She did so well, and the time will tick down, and the time will beat them all, and 1-0 will go into the break level. So it will be on the penultimate day of the season. As it stands, 1-0 are taking a big step towards locking in fourth as they lead Heidelberg 3-2 at half-time. Kept the ball alive and steered it back for Salah. What a save from Paige Daly. That's a
Now 1-0 again. Sorry, he loses out. Just drags that shot wide and it will be the ball.
from Salah to Scott Wicker. Return to Salah, away from Stalakidis. Around for Tinos, has fizzed it across.
Oh, what a
and
save,
Daly's
mate.
made another brilliant save from Tanaka. Chincotta just peeled away momentarily. Tanaka. Been a rather fine touch to end the season, and that's a glimpse of it. Salakidis has a look. Tanilis is called into her.
Push each other to their limits as Heidelberg get on a break.
Chincotta shifting away through the legs for Tanaka. Danilis with a good intervention. Salakidis is following. It stayed wide and then lost out to Salah, who's got a runner either side. Parkinson was one. Scott Nicker was at the back post, and Daly makes a wonderful save again.
Very nonchalant save there.
Mura.
That's good hit from here.
Mariella Bagang might have a go as well. And Danilis had to claw across to make the save. Forward this time. Danilis went on the drive.
He meshes out though.
Cut out by Whiting, who had a hit and scored a stunner. It's a delight.
So much more important.
Whiting to Langley. Whiting had just continued her run. Langley went alone, and Danilis had to get down at the expense of a corner. On which Heidelberg
Langley's in the middle.
And Tamamura at the back post has turned it in. And Heidelberg have...
For the second goal. Haven't let 1-0 catch them on the counter. Because that's a beautiful ball there by Isa.
Salakidis was nearly the beneficiary. McCaffrey went searching for Peel. He's peeled away from Fatinos and flashed it in for 2-2.
Side netting.
What a moment with Danilis. Still a couple yards away. Damazi's been found around Bagang and has steered 1-0 ahead. We return from half-time for the final time in Heidelberg United season for Season 2 in 2025. The final time for the calendar year for this side. They trail 1-0, 3-2. Have a little bit of a mountain to climb if they are to get back into the game. They had a positive middle period to the first half. Salah is looking to get 1-0 off to a bright start. Andriopoulos went down the line, but Bagang stood her up and made a good challenge. It was quite the topsy-turvy opening period. One where 1-0 started and finished brighter. However, the middle patch was where Heidelberg did their best work. They got themselves ahead in one which was then turned around. There's Mariella Bagang, who's been restored to the Heidelberg fold this evening. Finds a lovely ball for Tanaka, who touched it down for Whiting. It ricocheted for Tamamura. Her effort was flashed just wide. Heidelberg go direct, nearly to good effect. Danilis went searching for Salah, who wasn't able to keep the move alive. Bagang back for Daly to much rapture. Whiting beyond Andriopoulos. It would appear every challenge, every side ball, possibly every pass of the ball is being cheered on that bench at the moment. Bagang. Tamamura. Lofted down the line for Tanaka. Got away from McCaffrey, switched it for Whiting, who went with heights and off the railing. For the first time this evening, it gets involved. There's nothing quite like a bit of late season futsal for both of these sides. 1-0 still have something to play for. If it stays like this, they would all but secure themselves a spot off the bottom of the table, and they're on the charge. Andriopoulos gave it to Salah, who can't shift around Bagang, set it for McCaffrey, who clipped her way forwards and at the near post. Andriopoulos couldn't quite turn it in. Tanaka got a touch on it, and it will be a corner. McCaffrey's take. Verratti met it, took a touch off Tanaka and nearly deflected in. Almost some real misfortune for Heidelberg. Another in a string of 1-0 corners. McCaffrey. Andriopoulos didn't catch it sweetly, deflected off Tanaka back to Daly. Begang on the switch for Tamamura. Mariala Begang once again. Tanaka. Tamamura, this is better from Heidelberg. Whiting, not around Salah. Just getting a foot in at the right time at the moment of 1-0. Get the feeling they want to settle into this second half. Heidelberg have started brightly. Whiting, Begang. Whiting, lovely roll for Tamamura, who couldn't shift away from Andriopoulos. Two to contend with, one of whom was Tanaka. Salah, that's a lovely ball to find Verratti. Begang in retreat with a good challenge. Tamamura, Tanaka, who's tiptoed away around two and nearly slid it all the way through, but it's a superb read from Salah, who now might go the other way. At two to her right, Tanaka made the block. Tamamura's turn to charge. Her ball only found McCaffrey. It's 3-on-2 for 1-0, and they'll have a corner. Really to and fro start to the second half. That's hit with real pace across from Andriopoulos, and Verratti couldn't quite find it. Daly, put it back for Tamamura. Whiting, couldn't turn it for Tanaka. Andriopoulos read it well, tiptoed away from both of them. On for Verratti. McCaffrey. 1-0 just starting to dictate a little bit. Salah with a tidy touch. Andriopoulos wanted to go the long way around Emily Tanaka, and Daly prevents a corner rather well. Goes direct for Whiting, but it's too direct and only finds her opposite number. Danilis wants to return serve, this time for Salah. Face to face with Tanaka. Whiting in retreat. Tanaka took a stumble, and 1-0 have a corner. Salah's take. McCaffrey might have a hit and wasn't far away. Searing effort just wide. 1-0 have really just taken a grasp on this second half. Hewitt, that's a beauty of a ball to find Whiting, whose return couldn't find Tamamura. McCaffrey as Whiting the charge at, steered it in for Salah, who just took some time before turning, was met with Tanaka. Found Andriopoulos down the line. Hewitt and Tamamura win it back for Heidelberg, but can't keep the ball in. Verratti. Hewitt being allowed to press higher. McCaffrey charging at Whiting. Thought about pulling the trigger on the shot the first time. The second time wins a corner. Second half yet to yield a goal. 1-0 still hold a slender lead over Heidelberg. McCaffrey's take. Salah on for Verratti. Again, they step high from the set piece. Salah, Andriopoulos wanted to tango with Tamamura and lost out on that occasion. Tamamura's ball was too heavy for Whiting, and 1-0 will keep it in a position of prominence. Look to steer themselves to a 2-goal buffer. McCaffrey. Salah. Went back for McCaffrey. Verratti was one option, Andriopoulos the other. Tamamura with a great press and then was given a pullback, and for that, Andriopoulos will go in the book. Couple appeals for a different colour of card from the Heidelberg bench. And they have a free kick, and Andriopoulos finds herself carrying a yellow card to the close. And just for that, Katrina Sadakidis will get a bit of a talking to from Michael Ciaris. Perhaps being told to tone it down a little bit. Costa Diamantopoulos sees the funny side. Heidelberg have a free kick. Chasing a leveller. Whiting went with whip, but not enough whip to trouble Danilis. And again, 1-0 have just rode out the wave, have slowed the game down when it's needed. It's Verratti. McCaffrey tried to steer it beyond Whiting, but only steered it out of play. They have been a very vocal bunch on that bench to start the second half. Tanaka side ball for Daly. Heidelberg taking their turn just to try and trouble 1-0, and they will have a corner. One which Hewitt's in a hurry to take. Tanaka dummied it. Tamamura wasn't on the same page. Verratti wasn't able to gallop herself forward, but was able to keep the ball. Went back for McCaffrey. Damasi has a glance at the clock. Hewitt did well. Terrific challenge just to slow McCaffrey up. Wanted to go again quickly. Salah spun away round Hewitt superbly and squared it across where no one was lurking. Tanaka had protected the space well, but it was an awkward ball to deal with. Heidelberg happy to see it flash across the face without an oncoming 1-0 runner. As Daly dinks looking for Hewitt nearly delightfully. Danilis diligently came across the clear. Scott Nicker on for Salah, who's pressed by Whiting, momentarily had three around her, dropped it off for McCaffrey, and Hewitt made the block. Whiting wasn't able to keep it in play. Verratti steered it to Salah, whose touch was tidy, and Tanaka's block was important. Brilliant intervention. Just as Salah had spun and was waiting to shoot. McCaffrey couldn't clear Whiting. Recycled it to Verratti. Hewitt couldn't clear it as far as Salah, who spun and then dragged a shot at the last second. Tamamura. Tanaka. That's a tidy touch to evade the press. On for Hewitt. He's got McCaffrey to go at. Tanaka. Tamamura. Whiting. Heidelberg have worked themselves out of a tricky situation quite well. Whiting continued her run. Tanaka had her as an option and just recycled it to calm things down. This time went with height for Tamamura, and it's a delightful, inviting ball. McCaffrey in retreat. Came across and both of them took a heavy tumble. It made quite the thud, but both seem to be okay. Both have gotten up quite quickly. That's a tidy steer around the corner from Salah. 1-0 pushing for a 2-goal buffer. Scott Nicker back for Salah, who shifted it for Verratti. Heidelberg having to sit ever deeper. 1-0 working it tidily. Tanaka with a delightful touch, and Hewitt's got room to go into. Had Tamamura up with her. Had to lunge to keep it in play, but wasn't able to. Again, it's another opportunity that perhaps goes begging. Tamamura. Hewitt with a deft take. Couldn't go beyond Verratti, who's now charging for 1-0 the other way. Salah, the only option. Scott Nicker in support. Verratti continued her run. But again, they calm it down, and Daly forced into a save from range. Tamamura only cleared it to Salah. That's a superb double stop. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant from Paige Daly, who has denied 1-0 all evening so far. But those two in particular might be the pick of the bunch. Tanaka comes for a breather, and Daly hits the railing. Source of much frustration. That line in the roof. There's Verratti. On for McCaffrey. 1-0 still searching. Still plenty of time for this game to turn on a knife edge. But if it stays this way, 1-0 would be well clear of Phoenix with 2 to go, and they're up next. Phoenix against a Aku side who would be champions for the third time. Hewitt Wasn't able to connect from Salakidis' ball. McCaffrey went clipping. Tamamura nodded it back only as far as McCaffrey, whose shot lacked sting, and Daly was able to gather at the second attempt. Salakidis, Whiting. Waited on Salakidis. Tries to bundle around McCaffrey. Salakidis still shifting, still twisting, and McCaffrey got a foot in. Salakidis' side ball. Cut out by Skotnicker, who's got Salah further forward. Salakidis in retreat. 1-0 moving it well, but again unable to keep it in play. Move just breaking down at the wrong time. There's Chincotta, who's been reinstated, was given room to turn. Quickly moved it on for Hewitt, who wasn't around McCaffrey, who can now go on the counter. Has options left and right. Went all on her own, Daly parried, and Salah via Skotnicker steered it in for 4. Having knocked on the door
13.
for parts at the start of the second half. 1-0 have a buffer to give themselves a 4-2 lead.
That's the right 4-2. Thank you.
There is still plenty of time for Heidelberg to find a way back into this game. However, it currently, for them, is not going to plan. Parkinson. Costa Diamantopoulos wants him on the press. Might be a change in tact. Heidelberg could go with more purpose in the press. Langley couldn't quite top and turn it off for Tamamura.
13. You call me stewed your glasses? Fucking. I hope you can pick that up as well.
Apologies if you heard any of that reply from Joshua Fusco. It was directed at Costa Diamantopoulos as Danilis had to spill and gather. Flung it on for Salah, who was surrounded by yellow. Dimarzi. Just waiting on Parkinson to peel away. McCaffrey, who lost out to Langley. Dimarzi came to give her a helping hand and now can charge forward. Couldn't thread it for Salah, who touched it on for Parkinson. Chincotta in retreat, and Salakidis too concedes a corner. Another 1-0 set piece. Salah forces another save out of Daly. Salah side ball on for McCaffrey. Chincotta got a foot in, not once, not twice, but thrice. And at the third time of asking was successful. Still some tongue-in-cheek Heidelberg protest. McCaffrey. Dimarzi. Tamamura on the charge. Ball found touch at quite the force. Nearly cleared towards us in the commentary box. Chincotta gave it away to Parkinson, whose effort was flash wide. Salakidis on for Tamamura, who went looking for Langley. McCaffrey in retreat is put under some duress and was able to see it diligently back for Danilis, who went for Salah. Dimarzi couldn't quite find Parkinson on the switch. Still plenty of time for this game to spin yet once more. Salakidis, Langley. Salah went to go on the press. Chincotta, tiptoed round Dimarzi with ease. And now Chincotta's going on a run. Fancied an effort. Langley took the sting out. And Tamamura was met by Danilis. Fabulous footwork from Chincotta. Heidelberg building pressure, and that one rather wasteful. 1-0, just doing everything they can to take the sting out of the situation. Salah was waiting on Demazi's spin either way. Tamamura held her up. McCaffrey, pressed by Langley, steered it back for Salah. Cut out by Tamamura on that occasion. Cincotta with a good reach. He's had a good game so far, Isabella Cincotta. And another great read, and she's on the charge. Set it for Salakidis, who had options arriving! And Cincotta couldn't apply a fancy flick to turn it beyond Danilis. A most inviting ball from Salakidis. One which just didn't have the finishing touch. It would have been a piece of ingenuity and a piece of genius had it found the net. And yet still, the deficit is at 2, and Demazi wants to inflict more pain. Fizzed it across, but Tamamura cleared it into touch. Demazi's side ball. Salah trying to tiptoe beyond Tamamura, and did so. It's a dangerous ball across. And Cincotta was vigilant and saw it out. Parkinson was lurking, and had it not got a touch off Cincotta, she might have had a chance at stealing in. Demazi lost out to Salakidis. Langley, surrounded by a sea of blue, couldn't get away from it. Salah had a shot early. Cincotta made the block and then continued going. And now Heidelberg are all on their own. Cincotta spins it in, and they've got one back. It's blistering on the break. It's crafty and then it's classy from Isabella Cincotta, who steers Heidelberg right back into it. The coolest, the calmest, the most nonchalant of steers into the far corner has Heidelberg back in the game. 1-0 want their buffer back, and Demazi can't find Peel, but there will be a rolling foul. Does that again. Just flip this game, the final one of Heidelberg's season. Does Costa Diamantopoulos ask, just how much more have you got? What can you give till the end? And he's also trying to prevent his opposite number from giving a timeout. There's Peel. Couldn't get around Bagang, who's been rock solid so far tonight. And in fact, there may be some confusion. And unfortunately, that is most bizarre. Costa Frutzis wanted how much time is remaining. A bit of a miscommunication led to a timeout being impromptu called. One which absolutely bewildered everybody. Players, coaching staff, and even officials. That is truly a moment. Salakidis on the cutout. Nearly fell for Langley, who had a second look after Parkinson couldn't quite clear. Cincotta's side ball. Heidelberg searching for an equaliser. Langley lashed it. Parkinson blocked. Langley kept the move alive, and Danilis gathered before wanting to catch out Daly, and it's a rather easy picking for the Heidelberg shot stopper. On for Bagang. Salakidis nearly turned it around inventively. Cincotta was lurking. Danilis gathered. Gave it on to Parkinson. Cincotta with a cracking challenge in retreat. Bagang couldn't quite keep it. And after some pinball, Heidelberg will reset. Bagang. Salakidis. Heidelberg now really have stolen the momentum. And Salakidis is tiptoeing away forward. Couldn't steer it beyond McCaffrey while looking for Chincotta. Given on to Peel, who has Fatinos to go at. Threaded it for Dimarzi. Chincotta again, the first one there to make the challenge. Peel. Around Fatinos. And forced the good save out of Daly. Salakidis. Drilled it for Fatinos, whose touch was errant. Dimarzi then took over. Parkinson. McCaffrey. Clips it round the corner for Peel. McCaffrey once again. Heidelberg stood off on this occasion. Dimarzi. Face to face with Salakidis. Just rolled it down the line for Peel, who peeled away from Bagang and only found the arms of Daly, who was waiting on runners. Fatinos was one. Chincotta had gone on the overlap, but Parkinson had telegraphed it well. Perhaps some changes being prepped. And an incorrect substitution being made by 1-0. So Jurcic will go in the book. And play will resume. Just at the end of that, a bit of a reshuffling required. Salakidis, Chincotta, Parkinson got in the way. Salakidis from the sideball had a hit! And Danilis was formed into a super save. Had to spring into life. And just steer it away from danger. Fatinos' take. Bagang gave it a hit, and Chincotta was lurking. And couldn't steer in the leveller. It's a gilt-edge opportunity for Heidelberg to get themselves level. They are, however, creating en masse. And are looking most likely to find a leveller. Bagang steered it for Fatinos, who got through the legs of Jurcic. Parkinson cleared it. They still can't clear their lines. Chincotta gave it a stab, and Danilis had to save. The next wave will come. Bagang. That one wasn't quite able to find Fatinos. And the ball was rolling. Heidelberg really applying the pressure and are getting a couple of gifts from 1-0. Bagang went to drill early. Chincotta didn't get in ahead of Parkinson. Now Peel kept that alive and couldn't quite go the long way around Salakidis. And on this occasion, a timeout card's been handed in by Costa Frutis. No confusion about that, as Chincotta is going on amazing. A beautiful run! And has scored a glorious goal. It's a piece of magic from Isabella Chincotta. That is simply sublime. What a goal. It is the most divine of finishes. What a way to get your team level. One of the goals of the season. And 1-0 go to timeout, bewildered by something brilliant. It's Heidelberg 4, 1-0 4. outrageous. Simply outrageous from Isabella Cincotta. Dare I say it's reminiscent of perhaps not just one, but two diminutive, genius, brilliant Argentinians from down the years. Out of this world. As simple as that. And it sums up the half that Heidelberg have had so far. They've been simply sensational. 1-0 have not had the answers. And here is Cincotta once again. Perhaps went to pass on that occasion. She took every player out of the equation. It is just that good of a goal. As Tanaka couldn't steer that down the line for Cincotta. One 0 shocked, but they cannot be sunk by it. Heidelberg have had a good half, but the game is locked level. Still an opportunity for this game to swing either way. And Tomasi's giving it a drive. Daly parry to Fatinos' advantage. Tamamura one way, Cincotta the other. And why wouldn't you try the 1-2? Tomasi on the dive, preventing Fatinos from firing just as she was lurking. Heidelberg pressing as hard as possible. As Tamamura gave it a hit to Nilis, gathered at the second attempt. Rolled it on for Peel, who's face to face with Tanaka. Damazi going beyond her as well. Peel went alone and lashed 1-0 back ahead. Immediately from the timeout, 1-0 launched themselves back in front. And all the Heidelberg good work is undone. Peel, who has had quite some night in front of goal, finds another, driven beyond Daly with pace. And 1-0 who've been rocked and rattled in the second half. On the wrong end of something special as well. Now find themselves ahead once again, and Damazi's on the drive. Peel's up with her, was on for 2 in a minute, but the ball was a fraction too heavy. And the question is still posed, what have Heidelberg got on the final day of their season? Whiting went with the outside of the foot, couldn't find Cincotta. Damazi took over. Peel lost out to Tanaka. Steered it on for Cincotta. Whiting. Tamamura. Tanaka again away from Peel. Whiting. That's a lovely ball steered for Tamamura, who's checked away from Verratti and couldn't quite set it back for a stretching Tanaka. Verratti found by Damazi. 1-0 just cooling it down. Went searching, and it was cut out by Cincotta, who let Tamamura take over. She couldn't again quite find her on the return. Whiting had an early hit, one which Danilis got a good sight of, and went to catch out Daly, but to no avail. Cincotta comes for a breather. Salakidis might see it out, you think. Tanaka, Salakidis, it's a lovely turn and a fantastic save from Danilis, who just got a paw in the nick of time. Final 5 minutes. Corner taken quickly. Tanaka put a challenge in. Jurcic's side ball. Peel again. Spun Tanaka, and Daly via a deflection had to make the save at a near post. Verratti this time turned it over from the corner. Heidelberg still yet to use a timeout tonight. Don't get the feeling that will come. They will go to the end. Salakidis for Whiting. Couldn't get it beyond Jurcic. Demazi then took over. Jurcic, Demazi. Bit of pinball off Whiting. That's a delightful ball for Peel by Verratti. Demazi, away from Whiting, has got the room to charge and roll their effort wide. Perhaps another great look to re-establish that 2-goal cushion for 1-0. And again, Heidelberg surge. Tamamura, Whiting on the loft, wanted Salakidis, who wasn't on the same wavelength. Can see the encouragement from those on the Heidelberg bench. Jurcic, Verratti, Demazi, tried to be deft to find Peel. Tanaka turned away from Jurcic. Whiting went on her own. And we've lost the ball. One which would need retrieving. And a quick check from Michael Ciaris and we can resume. The depleted futsal ball count in series. Verratti, Demazi, away from Whiting. Daly got a foot in and had to do so. Wants to go quickly for Tanaka, and it's a tidy ball. Salakidis on the overlap. Tamamura was lurking. And Salakidis' ball was just at an awkward enough height that Tamamura couldn't connect. Verratti, Salah. Couldn't spin Tamamura. Whiting. Again waiting on the runners. Tamamura, the only one who dropped off for her. Back with Whiting on the switch for Salakidis, but it was read by Verratti. Dropped it off for Demazi. Claudia Demazi can't find a way beyond Salakidis. Tamamura came to give a helping hand. Verratti, Salah, lovely futsal, tidy shift from Salah, who's not able to go around Tanaka, who just about prevented a corner in the meantime. Through the legs of Salah, Whiting on for Salakidis, who steered it terrifically for Tamamura. Kept the move rolling, Tanaka arriving, Jurcic got a clearance, out for Salakidis, who has thumped it in. An absolute belter from the Heidelberg skipper. A Salakidis special from near halfway, and they're level once again. Superb. Two of the very, very best from Heidelberg as they farewell the season. Dare we say Isabella Cincotta might have been upstaged by a searing strike. Demazi on for Salah. They couldn't concede again after going level. Wanted Verratti and hacked away by Tanaka. Change made quickly. Costa Diamantopoulos just a bit on edge about it. Verratti, Salah. 1-0 searching. Demazi, that's a lovely ball for Salah, who's away from Tanaka, and Daly's made a fabulous save. An all-important foot at the near post. 3 minutes to go. Perhaps a tense 3 minutes. Verratti, not beyond Tanaka. Now the question is, who wants to go and win it? Heidelberg could close out their season with 3 points. And just the perfect feeling, really. Whereas 1-0, you would imagine, would steer themselves away from Phoenix. That's a delightful ball from Salakidis. Tamamura, not around Demazi. Wanted to wait for Tanaka. Langley. Tanaka. Salakidis away from Salah. Langley. Too heavy for Tamamura. Two special goals. Really special goals from Heidelberg tonight. Two moments of genius. And still it's not enough for 3 points as it stands. They are on the search. Daly. Tanaka, whose hold-up was good. Langley went first time. Why not on a night like this? One whipped wide of the far post. Salah, who was found well by Danilis. Away from Salakidis, not beyond Tamamura just yet. McCaffrey. Steered it for Dimazi. Couldn't get the long way around Langley. Salah. Verratti. Tanaka stood her up, back for Salah. On again for McCaffrey to have a crash! And has rolled it just wide. Kostadiamantopoulos wanting a look at the clock. Tanaka through the legs of Verratti, but too much on it for Salakidis. Just under 2 minutes to go. Both of these sides searching for 3 points. Tamamura saw out Salah. Langley away from McCaffrey, on for Salakidis, who went first time. Salah had to clear it. Damazi's now got 2 to go at. Had Verratti arriving, went early. Rolled her effort wide. And it will be the keeper's ball. It's the wait on confirmation. It's a lovely lob from Daly. Tamamura couldn't turn it centrally. Verratti threaded it intricately for Salah. Langley in retreat made a good challenge. Tanaka. Tamamura, oh, it's deft. Langley in ahead of Danilis, who slid well. And now McCaffrey's on the charge the other way. Verratti. McCaffrey waiting on Damazi to advance, or threaded it for Verratti, who was oh so close. Emily Tanaka perhaps calls it a night. Chincotta with a minute to find another piece of magic, or is it McCaffrey's turn? On for Salah, Daly save. Tamamura's deflection, not one to hurt them. Chincotta not away from Damazi, it broke for Langley. Salakidis, Chincotta was lurking, Damazi was diligent. Salakidis flashed it across. Inside the final minute. Verratti went searching. Salah took it down well. Chincotta in retreat made the challenge. Langley will see it out of play. Have either of these sides got one more throw? Langley beyond Salah. Verratti cleared. Is it perhaps 1-0's turn to spoil the party? Damazi away from Salakidis, who made the block. Ricochet to McCaffrey, who's keeping the move alive. Salah. Tamamura's challenge. Langley's all on her own. Danilis has come the long way round and didn't get there to clear, but did get there to get a touch on it. Langley, Salakidis has steered it over. Final knockings. Perhaps one only remaining look to win it. Damazi. Salah. They couldn't pinch all three, could they? Salah away from Chincotta, around Tamamura, took a deflection, and Daly's got to go. If Heidelberg want to win it, they have seconds. McCaffrey's intervention important. And that'll be that. Timer ticked over. And it ends even. Amidst a lot of confusion, Heidelberg bid farewell to the season. They bid farewell to series futsal with a point. Full time in Darabin in the early kickoff. Heidelberg 5, 1-0 5. They might still have a look at. McCaffrey skipped the one for Tinos, kept the ball alive and steered it back for Salah. What a save from Paige Daly. That's it.
Now 1-0, look at that ball again. Ferrari, loses out. Chincotta just drags that shot wide and it will be a keeping ball.
From Salah. Away from Salakidis, around for Tinos, has fizzed it across,
oh, what
and
save,
Daly's
Paige.
made another brilliant save from Tanaka. Chincotta just peeled away momentarily. Tanaka, a fine touch to end the season, and that's a glimpse of it. Salakidis has a look. Danilis is called into her.
Push each other to their limits as Heidelberg get on the break.
Chincotta shifting away through the legs for Tanaka. Danilis with a good intervention. Salakidis is following. It is stayed wide and then lost out to Salah, who's got a runner either side. Parkinson was one, Scott Nickham was at the back post, and Daly makes a wonderful save again.
Very nonchalant save.
Tamamura. The other gang might have a go as well. Danilis had to claw across to make the save. Way forward this time. Danilis went on the drive.
And there she's out though.
Cut out by Whiting, who had a hit and scored a stunner. It's a delight. Whiting to Langley. Whiting had just continued her run. Langley went alone and Danilis had to get down at the expense of a corner. Which Heidelberg.
Langley's in the middle.
And Tamamura at the back post has turned it in. And Heidelberg have...
The second goal. Haven't let 1-0 catch him on the counter. That's a beautiful ball there by Israel.
Stalakidis was nearly the beneficiary. McCaffrey went searching for Peel. He's peeled away from Fatinos and flashed it in for 2-2.
Side netting.
What a moment with Danilis. Still a couple yards away. Damazi's been found around the gang and has steered 1-0 ahead. A topsy-turvy first half. Back from McCaffrey. Verratti was one option, Andriopoulos the other. Tamamura with a great press and then was given a pullback, and for that, Andriopoulos. Verratti steered it to Salah, whose touch was tidy, and Tanaka's block was important. Again, they calm it down and Daly forced it into a safer range. Tamamura only cleared it to Salah. That's a superb double stop. who can now go on the counter, has options left and right. Went all on her own, Daly parried, and Salah via Scott Nicker steered it in for 4. Tiptoed round Demazi with ease, and now Chincotta's going on a run. Fancied an effort, Langley took the sting out, and Tamamura was met by Danilis. Couldn't get away from it. Salah had a shot early. Chincotta made the block and then continued going. And now Heidelberg are all on their own. Chincotta spins it in, and they've got one back. Hasn't got in the way. Salakidis from the sideball had a hit, and Danilis was been handed in by Costa Frutis. No confusion about that, as Chincotta is going on amazing. Amazing! A beautiful run! Demazi's giving it a drive. Daly parry to Fatinos' advantage. Tamamura one way, Chincotta the other. And why wouldn't you try the 1-2? Demazi on the dive. Rolled it on for Peel, who's face to face with Tanaka. Demazi going beyond her as well. Peel went alone, and Lash 1-0 back ahead. Salakidis might see it out, you'd think. Tanaka, Salakidis, it's a lovely turn and a fantastic save from Danilis. Steered it terrifically for Tamamura. Kept the move rolling, Tanaka arriving. Jurcic got a clearance. Out for Salakidis! Salah. 1-0 searching Demazi. That's a lovely ball for Salah, who's away from Tanaka, and Daly's made a fabulous save. Perhaps calls it a night. Chincotta with a minute to find another piece of magic, or is it McCaffrey's turn? On for Salah, Daly's save. Tamamura. if they are to win tonight, they would be the completers of something unprecedented. 3 points is all it will take for 3 titles in a row. A hat-trick of league triumphs awaits Melbourne Aku if they are to be successful against Northern Phoenix tonight. This could be Coronation Eve. We had one on Friday. Is it time to crown the Queens of the Land on Sunday? All they have to do is beat a Phoenix side who took points off them earlier in the season, the only side to do so, and the crown will be theirs. It is no easy feat, but for Melbourne Aku, history is what awaits this side. They've been superb all season. Have found a way to keep the title hunt going, have found a way to continue to rewrite themselves into the history books. And now, they are merely 3 points. They are merely 40 minutes from their grandest achievement. And Allerton is getting the party started early. Aku ahead in next to no time. And on a night where they can be crowned champions of the land once again, they get themselves off to the perfect start. Imperious, a late run from one of the new acquisitions. Moved all the way over from Western United at the very start of the campaign. Has really, really been a big piece to the puzzle for QEMU's side. In the absence of Jessica Rowell, captain, a leader, a star who returns to the fold tonight, albeit from the bench, Clarissa Allerton has really, really stamped her mark on this Melbourne Aku side and has opened the scoring on a night where now, as it stands, they are the title holders once again. Northern Phoenix, however, are the team who people think are best placed to change that. The only ones to take points off Aku this season, it was in that dramatic 4-all draw way, way back when that we thought perhaps that they wouldn't retain the title for the 3rd time in a row. A really impressive Phoenix performance where they were in fact possibly unlucky not to snatch all 3. But in the time that's transpired, Aku have not put a foot wrong. They have picked up maximum points from all of those games, including 3 against Fitzroy, which has been the swinger in the title race. And Stella Nissan, who's been in the goals recently, couldn't find her way towards turning in another. Allerton dropped it off for Sienna Fogarty. Fizzed it into Hugh Beak. Yamashita was one of the options. Best got a foot in. Leakopoulos went with Loft. Nissan's touch was tidy. She's waiting on runners that didn't arrive and has given it back for Hugh Beak, who shifted around best. Yamashita left it behind at the back post. Ever so nearly a quick fire double. Aku roared forward from a Phoenix error. Nearly found themselves 2 up in a matter of minutes. Leakopoulos around Hugh Beak. Not beyond Allerton. If you've just joined us, the only other game from the women's tonight ended in a thrilling, in a fantastic, a frenetic 5-all draw between Heidelberg and 1-0, where Isabella Cincotta and Katrina Salakidis scored 2 of the best goals you will see. One, reminiscent of 2 Argentinian greats of the outdoor side of the game, and one, a true good old-fashioned thumping net buster. Well, that was before, this is now. There's Miller Best. When searching for Leakopoulos, Allerton read it well, moved it on to Hugh Beak. Fogarty couldn't thread it for Yamashita. Aku already a goal up, having started oh so promisingly. It could have been 2. Allerton's flick on, got it back from Leakopoulos. Again, the ball from Yamashita was a fraction too heavy. O'Brien just about sees it out. Pressure that was put upon her. Miller Best. Laurel Hayek We're getting a nod in between the sticks for Phoenix tonight. It was Emma Olsen last time out who scored a screamer. It's been that kind of season. Goal of the season contenders have been in free flow. The pick of the bunch would be hard to choose. Might see perhaps if sometime later in the game we could get our commissioner's pick so far on who leads the goal of the season tally. Could ask him at the break. It's Leakopoulos. Cut out by Fogarty. Mergianos in a hurry to get things going once again. Leakopoulos away from Burke. Mergianos back for O'Brien, out the other way for Best. Not beyond Allerton. Fogarty. Hustle by two in turquoise. Got it back to Allerton, who fizzed it on for Yamashita. And a touch let her down on that occasion. Molly Burke, another returning to the lineup. Has been away on a global travel for quite some time. There's O'Brien. Had her ball cut out by Allerton. Set back for Fogarty. Took a tumble. Mergianos was quickly in. Burke blazed it for Yamashita, who at the second time couldn't find Fogarty. Leakopoulos was all on her own. Got around Burke. Fisted across. And Yi got a palm at the expense of a Northern Phoenix corner. Had to get one as well. Mergianos was lurking, waiting for a tap-in at the back post. Ball played across with ferocious force. Best corner. Leakopoulos appealed. Ricocheted out for O'Brien, who had a hit. And it had the whip, it had the direction, but it was a fraction too high. Fogarty. Allerton. Burke. Now the other way for Fogarty once more. Giuliani was central. A touch invited O'Brien to make the challenge. Mergianos. This time lost out to Giuliani. As it stands, as we've mentioned before, Aku will lift the crown for a third season running. Truly unprecedented. Hat-trick of titles, a three-peat. In some sports, in the world of basketball, it's a dynasty. Mergianos lost out to Allerton, and Burke's around O'Brien. Molly Burke had a hit. Flashed her effort just wide. But those are the looks that Aku will get. Mergianos with an errant touch. Giuliani's on her own. Off the post. Burke on the follow-in. Blazers over. It was nearly a Northern Phoenix gift. One which the incumbent and would-be champions would have gleefully accepted, and Giuliani might get another look. Away from Galanos, on for Allerton, on the switch for Burke, but it was read by O'Brien. Mergianos wanted a 1-2, and the ball was kept alive by Fogarty, who went to go and win it back. Burke once more. Allerton. Not beyond Sargin. Mergianos couldn't tiptoe away beyond Giuliani. Allerton kept the move alive. Burke. Her ball this time went out to Jessica Out, but he didn't quite find her feet. Out who hasn't featured for Aku essentially all season. Has been out for a long, long time. Had personal commitments. It's good to see her back in the fold on what could be coronation night, and here she is. Not quite away from Mergianos, dropped it off for Giuliani, who went on the switch for Allerton, who acknowledges that she might have wanted to go and get on the end of it. It's been quite the deft start from Aku. Al's got a look. Had Giuliani further advanced, couldn't tiptoe away from Sargin. Yaren put the first foot in, Ada went and won it. And Phoenix will keep it. Galanos, not beyond out.
Yes. Yes,
El Hayek. For Mergianos. Steered it into Sargin, who lost that to Allerton. Mergianos tried to keep the move rolling. Allerton and Giuliani both put feet in. Sargin had a stole! And nearly stole away back into the game. Would have taken something special. Very nearly had that. Was inches away from perhaps providing a leveller. Just flashed it across Rebecca Yee's far post. The replay showing that. It was a tidy move. Nissan. Sargin. Wanted to refine Nissan. Cut out by Al. Sargin took over. Al then went and won it back. Galanos got across to make the block. Prevented a corner, perhaps to their own detriment. And Sargin, as Araha was lurking, conceded a corner. Back to take Araha. Stolen at the near post. Sargin blocked the first. Now Hayek's hands were found by the second, and she goes looking long. And too long for either Sargin's sister to be able to get onto it. He looked long. Araha's touch was tidy. Al Hayek came to claim it and did so. Nissan. Phoenix pressing for an equaliser. Giuliani with a good challenge on Sargin. Couple changes being prepped. Leakopoulos and Best being given instruction. Al Hayek, who went with height. Burke nearly plucked it. Galanos will give chase. And Giuliani will see it out. Game had fallen into just a little bit of a lull since that early Allerton goal and an early Aku foray forward. Sargin was shouted out in a violet haze, and now Al's on the charge, went early. Steered her effort over with a hand from Lara. Al Hayek. Another Aku corner. Having started strongly. On the search for a second. Burke drifted near post. Araha wanted to set it for Al, but it was read well by Best, who is going on the charge. Miller Best. Oh, it's a delightful ball for Nissan, who's turned it wide. Brilliantly incisive from Best. And Nissan, who was always back facing to goal, couldn't turn it in, but Leakopoulos has a look. Wasn't able to steer it further towards the near post of Rebecca Yee. She looks long for Jessica out. Lovely take, lovely ball. Giuliani as Al Hayek came charging and forced her into a save at the expense of another Aku corner. Giuliani's take out for Burke, who had a hit blocked by Best, only as far as out. Can't quite get away from Leakopoulos. Sargin came to give a helping hand. Open space up for Araha. Leakopoulos concedes a corner. And just a hush. We could have another corner. Approaching the midway stage of the first half. That one rather wasted. And Northern Phoenix have been fraught of opportunities so far. Perhaps hoping they can carve a few out for themselves. See if they can get this game back on terms. Burke laid it back for Al. Burke, lovely touch on for Hugh Beak, who threaded it. Burke kept the run going and steered her effort over. But it is yet another look that they are getting. Been able to carve through Phoenix with relative ease so far. Defensively, Suleiman Mohammed and Tyler Lewis's side are being tested. O'Brien, not beyond Araha. who had Al centrally. Couldn't quite get it under the first time, and it trickled out as a result. Nicopolis, Best. Wanted to split it for Sargin. The idea is appreciated by the bench. Even if it didn't quite come to fruition. It's the kind of invention that Phoenix need to show more of. Burke, not in ahead of Sargin. Leakopoulos couldn't steal it. Al took a tumble and wore one as collateral damage. Leakopoulos leads a 3-on-2. Best couldn't get around Hubik, who now needs to counter the other way. Al was on with her, was given by the early ball, and there was no overlap on the far side. And it trickled into the arms of Al Hayek, who wants to go direct and rattles the railing. Some might say the best defender in the league. One Sargin sister swapped for another. Araha. Al made it work and did wonderfully to do so. She got in ahead of O'Brien. Yamashita around Best. Not beyond O'Brien. And now Phoenix might have a look. Sargin, the only other one further forward. Al's challenge was a good one. Araha then went and took over. Al. Dropped it back for Araha. Hubik. Yamashita just peeled. Al let it run, and Amanda Araha is the next in line to have her effort saved by a diving Laura El Hayek. Another Aku corner. A succession of many in this first half. Hubik's take for Araha at the near post into the arms of El Hayek. Immediately wanted to look long. Araha always best placed. Hubik leads the next wave of Violet to charge forward. Yamashita around Sargin onto Araha, who ran out of room. Best let it roll back for El Hayek. Along for Sargin, whose touch was heavy and invited Hubik to win it. On to Al, who's got room on her own. And it's very, very rare that you see the Aku skipper steer one over, let alone two. Another let-off for Northern Phoenix. Leakopoulos, O'Brien, Best. Leakopoulos away from Al. And Leakopoulos has a hit and crashes the bar. Ricocheted out to Best. Brilliant strike from Leakopoulos. And it has thundered the woodwork. The second she gets away from Al, it just opens up for it to lash it goalwards. And she is millimetres away from an equaliser. Terrific strike. One which is unfortunate not to find the net. That is the closest Phoenix have come to really troubling Aku so far. It's been a first half where the current crown holders have been dominant. He looks long. Best telegraphed it well. Yamashita with a tidy touch. Found the feed of Al. Wanted to flick it on for Hubik. O'Brien got in the way. Sargin shifting away from one, away from two. Yamashita then got a foot in, and Aku can go the other way. Al, the only other one further forward in Violet for Hubik. So she calms it down on the switch for Fogarty. Her touch was loose. Sargin, one in ahead of her. Hubik had peeled down the line, was found by Yamashita, got around Best. Fogarty. On for Al, who's around Galanos, and O'Brien came sweeping up. Yamashita from the side ball out to Fogarty, who had a hit. Galanos got the block in the way. O'Brien gave Best one to chase. Yamashita on the slide got it back to Rebecca Yee, whose clearance was an errant one. Best side ball. Rolled it for O'Brien, who again had a hit. Wasn't able to do much else with it. Our effort steered over. Aku have just done well enough at shutting Phoenix down whenever they've looked to build in this first half. Fogarty, not over. Best for Hugh Beak. But only into El Hayek. Galanos immediately hustled by Mary Hugh Beak. The move keeps on rolling. O'Brien down the line for Leakopoulos, through the legs of Yamashita. Mopped up by Fogarty. Yamashita in for Allerton, who wanted to go on the switch for Hugh Beak, who was galloping forward. Wasn't quite able to. Restarts through Fogarty, who in turn couldn't thread it for Yamashita. It's still as it stands. The current champions retaining the crown and going back to the reins. Tyler Lewis, timeout slip in hand. Just looking at the clock. Attention to detail from Michael Ciaris. There's Fogarty. On for Yamashita. Away from Leakopoulos, back for Hugh Beak. It was hustled by Mergianos and forced to go to Yamashita, who on the slide found Fogarty. She dropped it off for Allerton. This is wonderful futsal from Aku. You Beak on the slide, El Hayek flung a leg out and quickly goes to Leakopoulos. Phoenix might have a chance on the break. Leakopoulos around Fogarty. Galanos' return was one which Leakopoulos wasn't able to keep alive. Allerton clipped it into Galanos, and Yamashita will happily let it trickle out. Allerton, Yamashita, hustled by O'Brien. Allerton lost out, and Aku just playing with fire a little bit at the moment. Northern Phoenix have stepped the pressure up. Seeing if with this momentum they can snare an equaliser and just throw a spanner in the title works for the time being. Leakopoulos lost out to Fogarty, who couldn't find Yamashita. Galanos went at it with Hugh Beak, who rattled her clearance off her. Couple of changes being prepped once again. Burke, Allerton, on for Yamashita, whose touch was tidy. Clip beyond Sargin, El Hayek came and didn't get there, but closed the angle down well enough so that Burke couldn't loft it over and in. And the clearance was made in the nick of time. Fogarty, Allerton, Burke, back for Allerton, why not? And El Hayek again got across at the expense of a corner. Allerton from Fogarty's take, on for Yamashita. Wanted to turn Sargin inside out, recycled it with Burke. Fogarty, not beyond Sargin, it's a tidy read. And she's on the charge. Yaron Sargin was really getting ahead of steam, and Allerton had to get a foot in. Suleiman Mohammed wanted a foul. Call of something on the touchline. Sargin's take, Leakopoulos. Couldn't thread it beyond Burke. Wasn't able to keep it alive. Phoenix just pressing at the moment in a really good period. However, that's a giveaway to Burke, who's on for Allerton. Had Fogarty one way, Yamashita had advanced. Allerton nearly left it behind her. Fogarty away from Galanos, on for Burke. Dropped it off for Allerton. Burke, Aku in the groove, and again it's just on the outside of Yamashita. The game just comes to a hush. El Hayek. Leakopoulos around the outside. Allerton in ahead of Nissan. Jessica Au reinstated for Yamashita. Aku skipper back in the fold. Nissan's take. Leakopoulos took a deflection off Burke. Phoenix will have a corner. And Tyler Lewis wants time out. The slip handed in immediately after the corner was won. They go into it a goal down. Allerton getting what at the moment is the goal that confirms Aku as champions for the time being. As we go to timeout, it's Northern Phoenix 0, Melbourne Aku 1. We return from timeout. Phoenix a goal down with a corner, chasing an equaliser against a title-hunting Melbourne Aku, who, as it stands, by a goal to nil, have the crown once again. Best to change that. Wanted Leakopoulos, Burke got in the way. Big shout out Mergianos, Sargin strike. Burke was quickly out to block, not once but twice. Been a cagey and close first half. Aku started stronger, they went ahead. Northern Phoenix have since wrestled back a lot of momentum in their search for a leveller. But Mergianos' touch was errant. Burke's ball. Our spin. Wanted to get away from Leakopoulos. Rolled it back for Burke. Set it for Fogarty to have a hit. And our Hayek's hands were firm. Should look long for Mergianos. Fogarty's flick on. Burke. Allerton. Then looking for out, and Leakopoulos ushered it out. Timeout issued. Phoenix have been a side that made it a knack of coming back better from timeouts in this campaign. It's a lovely take from Al, who had Burke advancing. It was a big wide forward. Burke kept the move alive, rolled it back for Allerton. Not away from Nissan. Al wanted to thread it for Fogarty. Leakopoulos read it. Leakopoulos went early. And it was one which ricocheted out of play. Fogarty. Jessica out. Down the line for Giuliani. It's a lovely return. Al away from Sargin. Not beyond Leakopoulos. A touch let her down on that occasion. Leakopoulos on the charge! And ran out of room before forcing a save out of Rebecca Yee. Jessica out. In for Burke. Giuliani. Al once again. Burke beyond Leakopoulos. Have kept the ball well, but haven't been able to break down a rigid Phoenix defence so far. Mergianos' challenge on Burke is an example of that. Since going behind early, it's been exemplary, but Fogarty's on her own. El Hayek makes the save. The follow-in is a brilliant double stop. And then thrashed away by Mergianos. Final 5 to the break. Burke, Giuliani. Burke's ball again. Fogarty, lovely return. Al Hayek's save is another good one. And still, they cannot find a way through for a second. The reigning, soon-to-be, would-be champions. Currently, still only with the slenderest of advantages. Al-Hayek looked long. Nissan and Burke went at it. And this is the kind of closeness that Northern Phoenix kept Melbourne Aku to last time. They were never outside of arm's reach. It's why they were able to nick a point. Against the reigning champions, they've made a habit of just staying in the game, as opposed to being completely blown away. That's a delightful spin from Al, who's around O'Brien. And Al-Hayek again is the one in the way to deny her. Quickly on for Sargent, who looked up and saw Violet, one of whom was a former teammate in Araha. Challenge comes in and it's a Northern Phoenix corner. Another good spell for Phoenix. Does this one bear fruit? Best flicked it across and Burke nodded it to safety. Phoenix just calming the game down. Taking a lot of the sting out of what's been a bit of a Melbourne Aku surge the last couple of minutes. O'Brien, best around Araha, but not in play. Araha went searching. Hours on her own! And nearly steered an impromptu effort beyond Al-Hayek and in. Wasn't able to find a gap at the near post. Nissan with a terrific take in ahead of Burke. Nissan still battling and did superbly to keep it. Best on for O'Brien, who lost out to Giuliani. Al-Hayek's come a long way and to very, very good effect. That's terrific goalkeeping. The judgment pinpoint. Jessica out. Hoping she can be pinpoint from the side ball. Instead rolled it on for Araha, whose effort was blocked by Nissan. Ricocheted all the way back out for out. Threaded it for Araha. Galanos read it well. Another Aku side ball. They continue to pile on the pressure. Al's got a yard this time. Giuliani couldn't steal it in. Northern Phoenix keep it. Much to a bit of Jessica Al's dismay. They are still just about hanging in there. Burke again with an important win. You don't get the feeling it's going to be that night where the title is won in a blowout, as it was on Friday. It might be a battle to the last. Phoenix have been very good at keeping Aku within arm's length this season. Saw that earlier in the campaign. Burke. Araha. On for Al. Oh, it's delightful. Almost to get through Leakopoulos, and her and Galanos have a mix-up. Aku have a corner. Araha's take. And for Jessica Rao, who's got under it. Another look for one of the league's finest, Australian international. It's Nikki Galanos. Searching down the line, Mergianos invited Burke to go and win it. Al got in ahead of Galanos. Giuliani rolled it on for Burke, and Al-Hayek makes another tidy stop and wants to go quickly for best. However, the ball has got too much on it and will trickle out of play to be reset by her opposite number. Just under 3 to the break. Araha back for Burke. Giuliani. Aku lead 1-0. They've had a plethora of opportunities since. But Al-Hayek has been fabulous as Araha's found once more by Al, wanting to shift the yard, Best with a block, and then took a tumble. Leakopoulos, who's come closest, was almost all on her own. Went around Giuliani, kept it alive, back for Galanos, who steered the effort over. And that is where the opportunity presents itself. When they soak up, they're then just able to hit on the break with such ferocity. Burke searched for Giuliani, who took that down very well, but couldn't find Yamashita. Both these teams still trying to unfold one another. Mergianos bullied her way beyond Yamashita. Best went the drive. Giuliani got in the way, whether she meant to or not. And again, it deflects out of play. Some discussion on the Phoenix bench, perhaps. Tyler Lewis, Suleiman Mohammed having a chat. There's Mergianos onto Galanos. Cut up by Yamashita, only as far as Mergianos. Galanos once more. And the switch for Leakopoulos, whose touch was heavy, and invited Burke to challenge. Mergianos stepped aside of Yamashita, gave it on to Galanos. This is much better from Phoenix. Giuliani's foot in was a good one, and she's robbed Galanos of it. Yamashita wanted Araha on the switch, but the ball was far too heavy. Perhaps a quick change to the break. O'Brien could see out the half. Galanos, Leakopoulos. Lovely sidestep away from Giuliani. Leakopoulos, why not have a hit? And wasn't far away from a spectacular equaliser. Sat Giuliani down and then nearly scored yet another screamer to add to the catalogue of corkers we've had on Sunday. Burke. Cut out by Best. Galanos is all on her own and Best can't quite find her. Yi rolled it on for Araha. Only steered it back to El Hayek. Long looking for Best, whose touch was a good one in theory, but invited Burke to play it. Hugh Beak slid it on for Araha, there's two! There is the double they've been looking for. And inside the final minute, just about to half-time, Melbourne Aku, who have been knocking on the door, find a way through. Araha just ahead of El Hayek, who was oncoming. All it took was a poke. And Aku now have some title breathing room. A buffer, if you will, on a night where it could be priceless. It could prove to be regal. Hugh Beak, Yamashita, not beyond Leakopoulos. Hugh Beak. Leakopoulos got a foot in. Inside the closing stages of the first half. Aku 2 up. A late and important Amanda Araha goal. Perhaps on the search for the third. It would really leave a thorn in a Phoenix side. Araha again flashed it over El Hayek's goal. As it currently stands, 2 is enough without having to worry about the final day against Fitzroy. However, if it stays like this, there is no doubt that the look will turn to an invincible season once again. Tonight of it on the final day in the last campaign, to only lose 1 match in a calendar year would be something special. Phoenix go a final minute 5th, and it might come back to haunt them. Araha around Best and out of room. 25 seconds to half-time. Phoenix running 5th. Best, El Hayek, Leakopoulos. Best, have they got one to half the deficit before the break? Leakopoulos on for Miller Best, who steered it for O'Brien, they do! And it's a beautiful goal. Wonderful futsal from Northern Phoenix, who halved the deficit on the stroke of half-time. And perhaps maybe just put a few title nerves on Aku. A terrific move, training ground stuff. You could see the joy on the coaching staff faces. Executed to perfection, right on the stroke of the break. Aku went one up early through Allerton. The title party looked like it might be in free flow when Araha added a second. But one back on the stroke of half-time from May O'Brien means that this one is truly in the balance. Half-time in Darabin. It's Northern Phoenix 1, Melbourne Aku 2. Merely 3 points. They are merely 40 minutes from their grandest achievement, and Allerton is getting the party started early. That Aku will get. Mergianos with an errant touch. Gugliani's on her own, off the post. Burke on the following, places over. Going on the charge. Miller Best. Oh, it's a delightful ball for Nissan, who's turned it wide. Brilliantly incisive from Best. Araha, Ubik. She's just peeled. Out, let it run, and Amanda Araha is the best. Leakopoulos away from out. And Leakopoulos has a hit and crashes the bar. Mashita, who on the slide found Fogarty. She dropped it off for Allerton. This is wonderful futsal from Aku. Ubik on the slide, El Hayek. Flung a leg out, but Allerton. And for Yamashita, whose touch was tidy. Clip beyond Sargid. El Hayek came and didn't get there, but closed the angle down well enough. Clearance was made in the nick of time. Fogarty, Allerton, Berg. Back for Allerton, why not? And El Hayek again got across at the expense of a goal. That's ball. Our spin. Wanted to get away from Leakopoulos. Rolled it back for Berg. Set it for Fogarty to have a hit. And John Burke is an example of that. Since going behind early, it's been exemplary, but Fogarty's on her own. El Hayek makes the save. The follow-in is a brilliant double, as opposed to being completely blown away. That's a delightful spin from Al, who's around O'Brien, and El Hayek superbly to keep it. Best on for O'Brien, who lost out to Gugliani. El Hayek's come a long way, and to very, very good effect. Galanos. Stretching down the line, Mergianos invited Burke to go and win it. Al got in ahead of Galanos. Gugliani rolled it off for Burke, and El Hayek. Ryan could see out the half. Galanos, Leakopoulos. Lovely sidestep away from Gugliani. Leakopoulos, why not? Looking for Best. Touch. Good one in theory, but invited Burke to play it. Ubik slid it on for Araha, there's two! Best, have they got one to half the deficit before the break? Leakopoulos on for Miller Best, who steered it for O'Brien, they do! Only 20 away are Melbourne Aku from a third consecutive series futsal women's title. Clarissa Allerton might have thought she got the party started early with an opening goal. Amanda Araha made it 2, and QEMU's side were well on their way. But May O'Brien on the stroke of half-time has just perhaps thrown a cat amongst the pigeons, or should I say a phoenix amongst the pigeons. For this second half, the deficit halved, everything all to play for. The league title on the line. Phoenix can still catch 1-0 if they are to flip this game on its head. That's a giveaway from Mergianos, on for Allerton, out the other way for Hugh Beak. They couldn't quite steer it beyond Mergianos, who spared her blushes. If they were to win it, the attention would certainly turn to an invincible campaign. They're on the verge last season as our thrashes one to the back post. And neither El Hayek nor Allerton could get a telling touch. Hayek's looked long, found Sargin, who's away from Fogarty and forced a brilliant save out of Rebecca Yee. Northern Phoenix out of nowhere, nearly, ever so nearly caused the scare. O'Brien, Mergianos, not beyond Hugh Beak. They got a touch in the way. This game, although having been relatively free-flowing in the first half, still unable to shift the tension of a title decider. And you can really, really feel it at the moment. There's Fogarty. Went long, looking for Hugh Beak, who's ahead of Al Hayek. Chipped it over her and just couldn't keep the room to find the finishing touch. Terrific from Mary Hugh Beak. All it was missing was the finish. That's a terrific ball from Leokopolis. Soggin kept it alive, and she's looked lively around Hugh Beak, and he's made a brilliant stop. Phoenix want a foul. And we'll get a rolling foul. Suleiman Mohammed appreciates it. Phoenix pressing at the start of the second half. O'Brien's side ball. Out for Leokopolis, who hit it well. Nearly fell for Sargin. Mergianos got out the way. It was given away to Fogarty. O'Brien nearly ahead of Allerton. Out flicked it out the other way for Hugh Beak. And Leokopolis got across the block. On the cusp of history. Aku standing on the shoulders of giants. As Al looked to twist and spin and shoot. And Leokopolis is carrying. Options left and right, one of whom was Soggin. And Rebecca Yee couldn't prevent a corner. Changes being rung. First time in the second half. Northern Phoenix on a real surge, looking to find their wings and have liftoff. Sargin left it for O'Brien, who lost out to Hugh Beak, and Al's got Hugh Beak up with her. They try to walk it in, Hugh Beak on the slide. Al's ball a fraction too heavy. Could that be an opportunity they could come to rue? O'Brien gave it away to Fogarty, who again has the runners left and right, one of whom was Allerton. And Sargin tracked her all the way and made the challenge. A really, really frantic start to the second half. Allerton's take. Fogarty flicked it, wanting Al. O'Brien made an all-important clearance, only as far as Hugh Beak. Fogarty returned it to Mary Hugh Beak. That's a terrific take. from Jessica Au. It was serious heat to find her. Hugh Beak driving it best this time, who comes across to shut the door. And Aku just looking a touch unnerved, although that's a poor clearance to Au, who shifted away from two, wanted to go beyond all four of them. Galanos got a foot in and read it rather well. Best. O'Brien, hustled by Hugh Beak, back for Best, who's taken it well, but not got away from Au, who had the early effort. Hayek made the save. Again, they go searching. Northern Phoenix have gone very direct to start the second half. Fogarty. Adjudged to a foul, Miller Best. Couple of early fouls for Melbourne Aku. Now that won't become a problem unless perhaps there are a couple more committed. Then they'd be right on the tightrope. Nissan wanted to spin Hugh Beak. Au came across in support. This game, edge of your seat, of real intrigue. It's Miller Best. Sargin, again hustled by Hugh Beak, and again nearly losing out, but Al Hayek was diligent and watchful. Allerton read it too, ahead of two in turquoise. Hugh Beak, Al, that's a smashing ball for Fogarty. He just can't quite find the finish. A good challenge put in. Instead, it'll be Al Hayek's ball. As she looked long. Al again read it well. Nissan not ahead of Fogarty. Hugh Beak might go on her own and lashed it just wide. Couple of quick changes. Leakopoulos couldn't quite find Best on this occasion. Cleared long, looking for Burke. Fogarty's ball round the outside was an inventive one. But again, neither side abling to find that finished polish. That's another example of it. Best ball, a provocative one. One of good incision, just unable to find Nissan centrally. Fogarty down the line for Burke. That's a beauty of a touch for Al. Al Hayek made a very, very good stop. Just the weight on that from Molly Burke was superb. Set it for Al to hit first time. Did the right thing in drilling it low and hard, but Lara Al Hayek was equal to the task. And they keep getting closer to finding that third. And you get the feeling that two-goal breathing room would really free up this Aku side. They're not playing with a caginess at the moment. However, they understand the lead is slim. It's a cautious approach as Fogarty had her effort blocked by Nissan. Took it for Al once again. Couldn't clip it away from Nissan. Ricocheted out for Fogarty. Steered it back for Jess Al, who wanted Yamashita. And instead we'll find a corner. Aku surging and searching. Al from the corner. Stings the palms of Al Hayek, who did well to gather amidst a sea of violet onlookers. Best. No further than Fogarty. Shuffled it back for Al. The Yamashita. Couldn't steer away from Leakopoulos. Time of the essence. Still plenty of it in the second half. There's Al Hayek. On for Best, who had an early hit. He parried it. Galanos on the follow-in has found the side netting. A true heart-in-mouth moment for Melbourne Aku, who just for a moment thought their two-goal lead was going to evaporate before their eyes. Leakopoulos' touch was loose. Best took over, lost it out to Yamashita. Burke. Yamashita, Fogarty, tidy return. Yamashita, Aku wanted handball, not a judge to be done by Best. Leakopoulos fired it into Fogarty. game comes to a calm again. El Hayek. Yamashita was hot on the press. It'll find its way out. Quarter of an hour to go. Aku 15 away from 3 in a row. Northern Phoenix pressing, making them work for every single finger they will put on that title. O'Brien on the charge. Yamashita's challenge is a good one. And in fact, the first bit of contact was a foul. That's 3 for the time being now. They're just starting to feel the ice thin out. Leakopoulos back from El Hayek. Phoenix run 5th momentarily. Best. Leakopoulos, El Hayek. Leakopoulos, Best. Hustle by Burke, who did well. Phoenix continue to run that 5th. Leakopoulos, El Hayek, whose touch was errant. Giuliani was the one who came quickly to press this time. Still they're in an arm wrestle. Leakopoulos. This time went longer, and they've lost out with the net open. Leakopoulos hammered it. More so to allow El Hayek to retreat rather than have a go. And Aku will reset. Really, really searching for a third, which could be a title winner. Yamashita with a deft turn beyond Leakopoulos. Moved it on to Burke, who shifted away from Galanos but took herself wide. Burke kept the move alive terrifically and then wasn't able to steer it centrally. El Hayek searching for O'Brien. Fogarty came across to shut the door. Rebecca Yee, who's had plenty to do at the start of this second half. Yamashita, Burke took over. El Hayek, who has read everything to almost utter perfection tonight, does so once again. Galanos. O'Brien, not beyond Giuliani. Leakopoulos, who's looked lively for Northern Phoenix, away from Yamashita. On for O'Brien, who spun Giuliani, and all of a sudden it opened up for her. Fogarty made the block, and Giuliani concedes the corner. Phoenix surging again. O'Brien's take. That's El Hayek. Leakopoulos. QEMU wants timeout. Best. Leakopoulos. El Hayek. Phoenix going brave. Burke with a good intervention. El Hayek. Galanos has rolled it wide. What a look. What a golden look. That was for 2-all. Aku led off the hook. And we'll have timeout as a result for a much needed reset. They still lead 2-1, however, only just as we head to timeout. We return from timeout with things right on a knife edge. Aku having just been given perhaps the let-off of all let-offs. Northern Phoenix missed a gilt-edge opportunity to tie this game at 2 apiece, having been 2 down, and to really, really make the reigning champions wonder if the crown would be won tonight. Galanos, who had that opportunity, lost out. Mergianos took over and couldn't quite find Sargin. Burke's in a hurry. Al was advanced. Araha wasn't as much. Galanos was pressed by Jessica out. Did well to keep it. 13 minutes. 13 minutes, eh? Unlucky for some, perhaps. Aku will be hoping that that does not ring true, and it is not unlucky for them. It's a tidy take from Sargin, who lost out to Burke. Mergianos in retreat did well. Best wanted to thread it, and only did so through to Rebecca Yee, who was quick to launch for Al. Best read it better than anybody. Mergianos had peeled, wanted to get inventive. Burke, and then Araha found touch. They are surging at the moment, Phoenix. Again, El Hayek makes her way forward. Galanos lost out to Al, had to get a foot in, the net was vacant. Al not in a hurry, happy to calm things down. Aku completely and utterly in management mode, you feel. Tidy take from Burke, who has had a brilliant game. Set it back for Al, who is charging, twisting, turning, and El Hayek has made a sumptuous save. Just as Jessica out was within range and ready to fire. And the threat is still there from the reigning champions, who have really been under the cosh tonight so far. Best. Lovely skip around Araha, and a beauty of a ball for Galanos, who's got Burke to contend with. Galanos wins a corner. QE Mew wanted that time out immediately. Phoenix still haven't used theirs yet. It will come, you feel. Galanos, the best from the corner, has Al to contend with. Wanted to clip it around the corner for Sargin. Suleiman Mohammed not best pleased about that. Encouraging a more possession-based approach, more patient approach. It could be one, which bears a much desired equaliser as Allerton look long for Al, who's backed into Best. Allerton on the overlap. Al twisting, turning, and laid it off for Burke, who's flashed it wide. Brilliant move from Aku. Easily their best of the second half so far. And it was belted wide by Burke. Similar to the first half, the set from Al was superb. Allowed Burke to smash it first time, and she wasn't far away. And here is Jessica Al on the charge. Galanos, who has done quite well up against her so far this evening, forces her to go back to Araha. Another good read from Nikki Galanos. Best back for Mergianos via Galanos. Amila Best once again. Mergianos. Phoenix being patient. You hear Suleiman Mohammed saying, don't force it. Best has lost out. Allerton's on the march, and Mergianos has made the block. This game hanging on a knife's edge. Aku have a corner. If they were to find a third, you get the feeling that all the pressure would lift. It all hinges on the next goal. Araha out for Jessica Al. Burke with the flicker! And it's a brilliant save from Lara El Hayek. A super flick round the corner from Molly Burke. Forced another important intervention. Corner taken quickly. Araha stepped aside of Galanos. Didn't get it beyond Best, who made the block. Araha tried to catch it high out at the near post. Couldn't prevent the corner. And this Aku side restored to the full ensemble this evening. As Araha steered it over. Truly a stacked bench, a few key figures returning to the lineup. It's a sign of a team who know what is before them, who know what is to become of them if they are to hold on. At the moment, even that will, even that faith is being tested. 11 to go. And they currently, although having had looks, are holding out. It is a really determined and diligent defensive performance from QEMU's side. Yi goes long and hits the railing. Gives Phoenix another look. Nissan, not around out. Galano scored a touch, broke for Burke, Sargin stole it. Nissan helped it on its way. Burke made an all-important challenge as again Phoenix are flooding. Turquoise wave after turquoise wave. Unrelenting at the moment. Given away to Araha from Galanos' side ball. Set back for Al, who went searching for Burke and instead only found touch. You can feel just how tense this game is starting to become. Suleiman Mohammed giving his best Liam Gallagher impression on the touchline. May he want to prevent Melbourne Aku's champagne supernova at the end of the night. Tidy touch from Galanos. On for Sargin! Back for Galanos! They might do, you know! They really might do! And from two behind, they have snatched it right back to where we started. Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. And again, the title pendulum swings from what could have been Coronation Night, now becomes perhaps a bit of a nightmare. Northern Phoenix had pushed, had pressed for the best part of 20 minutes and then some at the end of the first half as well, and have found themselves all the way back. And now the mettle of Melbourne Aku is being pushed. It is being tested. This is what title winners are made of. As Burke sets it back for Al, who has a hit via a bobble and in! And on her return, she might have just scored the most crucial one of the night. It's cruel on Laurel Hayek. It took an unfortunate and unbecoming bobble. As is the delight for Jessica Al, who on her return to the Phoenix side has her goal and is one of importance as ever they are from her. And now we've just reached the halfway stage of the half. There is so much to come. What might happen next? Leakopoulos to launch. Took a deflection and Phoenix will have a corner. And again they search for a way back. Leakopoulos launched it. Called it sweetly enough. Just didn't get over it enough. He went searching for Hugh Beak. It's a good read from Best. It's a brilliant read from Best. What a swan song for Sunday. Just how good is this? It does not get any better. There is not more on the line. The only side to take points off Aku this season. Found themselves 2 down, got themselves level, now 3-2 behind, but Best has got a yard. Wanted to thread it, and Leakopoulos has steered in another. They've only gone and levelled again. Best stole a yard. Had an early hit, Rebecca Yee saved. Leakopoulos on the late run. Unmarked, there to turn in and turn the script on its head again. Time for another Aku push. Perhaps not. What on earth is going on here? It's a brilliantly timed run. And the finish is as cool as you like. From point blank range, albeit. Northern Phoenix have pressed, they've pushed, and they've deserved that in this second half. And some early Aku first half misses are being rude, but Fogarty's twisting, and it's a supreme save from Al Hayek. One of the league's finest shot stoppers is at it again. Phoenix doing what they did the first time around. Hubik from the corner, blocked by O'Brien, whose intervention is a huge one. Cleared only as far as Fogarty. Moved it on for Burke, who couldn't poke it into the path of out. And perhaps the regal formalities have to be put on hold. That is how it feels at the moment. The first shock in the title race was when these two met early and Aku dropped points. It was then Heidelberg's turn when they shocked Fitzroy. Now they are dead level again. The first time they met it was 4-all. This time it's 3-all. And there is still 9 to go. Suleiman Mohammed and Michael Ciaris having words. Northern Phoenix gaffer, not most appreciative. His side are surging. His side have found not one but 2 equalisers. And want to go and pinch the lead. Fogarty. Cleared it into Nissen. It stayed alive. Burke helped it on its way. Yamashita didn't get there ahead of Leakopoulos, who will not mind where that goes. Burke. Hubik. O'Brien stepped up. Molly Burke once again. Down the line for Yamashita. Leakopoulos closed the door. It's all about holding your nerve now. And the froth mop's required for the first time tonight. And it just allows us all to have a breather, really, on what has been just a ridiculous second half so far. You could not write something like this. If you did, you'd win a Pulitzer. It is astonishing, absolutely astonishing what is unfolding. A point keeps them in the lead, but it takes it to the final day. Fraught with uncertainty, fraught with the nearest challenger. And with only 9 to go, the only side who have shocked them this season are on course to do so again. Simply staggering, and we're nowhere near finished. Leakopoulos on for Best, who had an errant touch. Yamashita came to mop it up. Set it back for Burke. 1-2 with Yamashita. Fogarty's return was wondrous. Yamashita's through and Al Hayek saves. Leakopoulos couldn't get there. It's out for Hubik, shifts. Again Al Hayek is the one preventing. Nissen lost out to Yamashita. Deflected to Leakopoulos. O'Brien, not beyond Hubik, not beyond Yamashita, but Northern Phoenix keep it. It's all to reset. Switch for Best. And the net's vacant. The net is vacant. Al Hayek's come a long way, and they've lost out. Burke on for Yamashita, who turns it in. Phoenix made to pay for an errant fifth man. Remarkable. It was thumped forward on the break. And Melbourne Aku were incisive. They were ruthless. And have just reeled themselves back in front. And are now on the charge for more. Allerton with one left or right. Yamashita couldn't steer it for out. Again, Phoenix have to gather. Al Hayek looked for Nissen. And it was a handball from Allerton. Now then. Foul number 4. They're only one away from having to be perfect, and Tyler Lewis wants timeout. Just before the free kick, 7.5 right down the line, and it'll be to the end. Northern Phoenix want timeout in a topsy-turvy second half, where it is Phoenix 3, Aku 4. And this is it. We return right down the stretch. We will go to the end. 4-3 to the reigning champions. Again, if it stays like this, they will complete a hat-trick of crowns 3 times in a row. Melbourne Aku will make the land their own. It'll be a wash with violet as it was last season. Unless Northern Phoenix fancy changing it again. Leakopoulos, best. Back for Leakopoulos. Drilled it into Allerton. That'll be 5 fouls. That will be 5 fouls. Unbelievable. And again, the script flips on its head. There's a debate to be had. It was hit with real force from point-blank range. It's one of those that either gets given or it doesn't. And if it gets given, you could call it harsh. It's been absolutely hammered. But it gives Phoenix a chance for an equaliser, and it means Aku have to be faultless. Same routine. Leakopoulos hit it. Yi parried it. Nissan had a stumble. Yamashita can go the other way. Set it on for out. Who's cut back. Finds Fogarty. Set Yamashita and blocked by Nissan. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. As is the ball from Fogarty. Yamashita. El Hayek on the slide. Au is bundling with an open net. Might that be the one that breaks it? Might that be the one? Could it be the crowning moment? And who else? How fitting. Jessica out has rolled over, and Allerton will get one as well. That'll do. That will do. They're going to get there, you know. Having been through it all, having been pushed to their limit, they do what champions do. They find a way, and they find it in perfect fashion, and they might not be done yet. O'Brien with a good challenge. Allerton still lurking. Ricochet to best. Phoenix will run 5th to the end, you would assume. Leakopoulos. Best. Nissan, lovely, lovely, brilliant block. O'Brien lashes it in. Let's just hold the coronation a second. Keep the Palace gates shut. We're not finished here. They are back within 2. 6.5 to find them. And that is without an Aku reply. It was a vicious minute for Northern Phoenix. Wings clipped in a storm of violet. And now they've got one back. Some real purple rain from Aku. Nissan couldn't find a way beyond Fogarty, who spun her, set it back for Al. And she just calms it with Allerton. Now Al's got room to go. Down the line for Fogarty. Delightful return, and Al Hayek telegraphed it. Fancies a hit, there is no way. And Rebecca Yee took no chances, took no prisoners, and gave away a corner. One of the best games to decide a league title you will ever see. 6 to go. O'Brien, El Hayek, up and over. Allerton. The next wave, the new wave. Fogarty nearly lost out to Nissan on 3 occasions and then played it out. Leakopoulos. Best. Northern Phoenix pressing. O'Brien was all on her own. And Yee was there to just about cut it out. Burke surrounded by turquoise. Allerton lost out. O'Brien, who's on a hat-trick, tiptoed away round out terrifically. Set it back for Best. O'Brien clipped it for Nissan, whose touch evades her. Everything, every single touch, every pass is contested, out on a march. Al Hayek wore one and made a terrific save. Game grinds to a halt. Well, Al Hayek's all right. O'Brien back on her feet. Burke's corner. Out for Fogarty to drill it. Al Hayek made another good save down low. Ricocheted all the way out to the shot taker. Burke stole a yard and the ball was a fabulous one. Set for Allerton. Via a deflection and in. It's crawl on Phoenix. It's crowning for Aku. Allerton at the double, and might that be the most important of the bunch? Every time you say that, something else spins the other way. Allerton's block, Leakopoulos lashed at it. It ricocheted to Al, and they might go on the charge for another. O'Brien bundled her over. It's Northern Phoenix's first foul in this second half. They have 5 minutes to find 3. Quick shake of the head from Suleiman Mohammed. Tyler Lewis up in arms. Kiwi Mute prepping Giuliani. It's all happening. Fogarty, Al nearly stole in. Al Hayek fancied another go. And this one more comfy for Rebecca Yee. Quickly on for Allerton. Al had runners left and right. Leakopoulos did tidily. And the slide is superb from Anna Leakopoulos. Again, just slowed it all up. Aku's turn to search and surge. Not that they need to right now. Fogarty, Leakopoulos over Al. Allerton has flashed it wide. Opened up invitingly and was hit supremely. Just not able to find the finish. Leakopoulos away from Allerton onto O'Brien, who just about kept it alive. Mergianos, whose touch was a loose one, and now out on the charge. Allerton, both hat-trick hunting. Hayek saved the first. Allerton turned in the second. And they are running away with it now. They are running away with it. Might that be the one? QEMU runs the changes. Feels that 4 is enough breathing room. And even when everything you could have possibly fathomed has been flung out the window tonight, has transpired, you feel that 4 surely must be enough. There's no way it couldn't be. Burke. Giuliani, Phoenix wanted handball. Fogarty took over and only found touch. And for a side who have thrown the kitchen sink at it, they'll do so one more time. El Hayek makes way. Best goes 5th. It'll take everything they've got, and perhaps then some too. O'Brien. Leakopoulos back with O'Brien. Best, whose touch was loose. Allerton had an open net. Leakopoulos pressed by Giuliani. That's a great ball down the line for Galanos. And Burke's challenge is a brilliant one. 3.5 to the end. They are getting ever closer to 3 in a row. There is no way. There is absolutely no way. And in fact, because it had not taken a touch in play, there is no way. It will be a corner. So where Phoenix have one, Aku have one at the other end. Fogarty, Burke. Leakopoulos might take over. Steered it into Mergianos. Leakopoulos flashed her effort wide. Araha, who's been reinstated. Couldn't find Giuliani. Galanos, it's a good intervention. Wasn't able to find an option further forward. Melbourne Aku have had everything thrown at them tonight. It really had shades of the 4-all from earlier in the campaign. But at the moment, they are doing more than enough. They have found a way and then some. They have dug out their souls to gift themselves a 3rd crown in a row. O'Brien, Best. Can Phoenix keep the dream alive? Hugh Beek's on her own. Giuliani was a runner. Hugh Beek tried to thread it. Best got in the way and then ran out of room. Melbourne Aku are walking the tightrope of that 6th foul. Araha given away to Best. Hugh Beek was in retreat. Best wanted to go the long way round and took a tumble, well, trickling out of play. And you can feel the sting has been taken out of this game somewhat now. From where it was ferocious, from where it was oh so close. There's now a handy buffer. O'Brien. Away from Hugh Beek. Galanos. Mergianos couldn't find it. Anywhere will do for Molly Burke. So now the attention turns to the Invincible season. To the foes from Fitzroy next week. They will come into it, you would imagine, already as champions. And although that can be a poison chalice for some, for Aku, it is truly the treasure in all of the land. O'Brien, Best. Lovely ball to try and find Galanos, but it trickled through to Rebecca Yee, who had Araha running. Found her rather well. Best closed her off. Araha kept the move alive. Burke. Hugh Beak. Back from Ollie Burke, just taking the sting out of the game. Hugh Beak once more. Araha was on the switch. Margianos came across. Not really a night of frustration for Phoenix. There's a lot of pride they can take in a performance like this against the side who have just been so good. When it mattered most, when their backs were against the wall, they found a way. It is what champions do. It is what this side has done time and time again on countless occasions. And tonight is just another to the catalogue. And Hugh Beaks picked best pocket, had an early go, and Ohayek couldn't take any chances. Another Aku corner. Could they take one more for the road? Araha, Hugh Beak, set it back for Yamashita, who went to clip it for Araha. It's a smashing ball to do so. Araha's return was tidy. Yamashita on the slide, couldn't keep it in. Approaching the final minute. The final minute away from 3 in a row for a side who have been terrific, who have raised standards, who have raised levels. And Araha has Giuliani with her. The ball was a fraction behind. O'Brien got the challenge in. It ricocheted to Best via Giuliani. Best is tiptoeing, and they'll have a look. 10-metre penalty for Phoenix. In foul surplus are Melbourne Aku. And there is perhaps an opportunity to at least pull one back. Leokopoulos to take, who's had a terrific night, all things considered. Has played seriously well. To pull one back, even if it is one for the road. Leokopoulos blazes over. And that, you get the feeling, is truly, well and truly that. Araha to Aku perhaps want one more before they start the celebrations. O'Brien to get things going once again. Down the line for Sargent, shifted away from Yamashita. Araha got the challenge him. Phoenix still pushing. Ohayek still going fifth. Best will now be under pressure from a pair in violet. Araha led it, and to good effect. Giuliani, Hugh Beak was crowded out by 2 in turquoise. O'Brien, a rather scrappy footnote. To an evening of so much quality on display. Deflection from Best helps Ohayek out. Araha had a hit on the turn, which one could have been troubling, and Giuliani's picked Best pocket and rolled it wide. That would have iced the cake. The crown wasn't aloft. That would surely have put it polished, glistening, glittering on top of Melbourne Aku heads. They've been tested. On so many occasions this season have they been tested. In a to and fro game against Fitzroy. The points they dropped on this occasion in the return fixture. The questions were asked of whether this team had the mettle to do it again. They've answered the question in emphatic fashion, and with a game to spare, they have found a way. People can talk and write whatever they like, But the headline will read, "What's the story? Aku glory again." It's a hat-trick of league titles for QEMU's side. 3 in a row for a team who have triumphed above all else. And tonight they were pushed as far as their limits could take and still found a way to prevail. A team who have been dominant, a team who have really redefined a lot of the standards in this sport, a lot of the standards in this league. And they continue to be out on their own with a game to spare. The invincible season is now all that awaits. As full-time in Darabin, it is Northern Phoenix 4, Melbourne Aku 8, and Aku are crowned champions, not only for Season 2 in 2025 for the third time running, and they have held the crown for the entirety of the calendar year.